current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. After 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this, and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life. They have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
5:07 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. On the expressways and tollways, things are looking good now as most of the overnight road work is gone. Still have a little work on the westbound Adams Tollway, I-90, 53 to Roselle. That's a right lane closure till 6 a.m. Not seeing any delays there, though. There is in Elgin a closure of Lawrence between Crystal and 31. That's due to a broken water main. And we are hearing that Lawrence will be closed through the morning rush. Traffic also with service for Subway. Try a hot, delicious Subway breakfast sandwich just the way you want it. Like egg whites and cheese with tomato and fresh spinach on toasted flatbread. Customize it with your choice of cheese, fresh veggies, Black Forest ham, or steak, even jalapenos. The Subway Sandwich Shop. Fresh is what they do. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Partly sunny and breezy today, gusts up to 30 miles per hour. An afternoon shower or thunderstorm in spots with a high 79. Partly cloudy night, low 55. Breezy with sunny clouds with a shower in the afternoon in some spots. Tomorrow, high of 68. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
59 at O'Hare, fog in the area. Next news coming up at 5:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Ayn Rand Institute and the Yaron Brook Show. Heard Saturday afternoons at 4 here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy, Muhammad Ali died.
No.
Yeah.
Sweet.
This just in. Breaking news, Muhammad Ali died.
Cassius Clay from Louisville, Kentucky.
That's one and the same. Your reflections on Muhammad Ali. Come on.
We're going to talk about Pitbull.
Oh, right, yeah. He's a Pitbull in the ring.
I met him in 2002.
I knew there was going to be a meeting.
No, I didn't date him. No, I didn't make out with him, if that's what you're asking. No, he was...
Was a licky brush involved?
There was no licky brush involved. No, he was... it's so weird because my kids have no clue who he was.
Wait, you met him in 2002.
Oh, and he was great. I interviewed him briefly before interviewing Bruce Jenner. So it was a very eclectic group of people in the room. But he was sweet. But he had already, he didn't seem all there to me when I had met him. And I know that was, 16 years ago. He just, it was a really quick, brief. It was 2:14.
That's 14 years ago.
14 years ago. Don't ask me to do math. But he was really nice. It was the champ. I was nervous. I was so scared to meet him because I thought he was going to bop me. Hit me in the head.
Amy Jacobson's review of the athlete of the century, Muhammad Ali.
He was powerful and graceful and crafty. But when I had met him decades later, he wasn't so powerful, graceful, and crafty, but he was sweet. And you could tell that he was nice and he was appreciative of people. And that's what I liked about it. He wasn't cocky like the other athletes in the room. He was normal. He seemed like one of normal people.
So there's a lot of facets to Ali. That was a quarter of one, I think. I think that would constitute a quarter of one. But, back in his day when he was a rhyme master in his own right and a master of the spoken word, how about Muhammad Ali and Liberace teaming up for a little ditty?
Well, you recite something and I'll make up the music to it. For a change, do the one about you.
This is the legend of Cassius Clay, the most beautiful fighter in the world today. He talks a great deal and brags indeedy of a muscular punch that's incredibly speedy. The fistic world was dull and weary. With a champ like Liston, things had to be dreary. Then someone with color, someone with dash, brought fight fans a-running with cash. This brash young boxer is something to see, and the heavyweight championship is his destiny.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, that is amazing.
Pretty good, huh?
I just remember as a kid watching him with Howard Cosell, and he had messed with his toupee.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I loved that because Howard Cosell, I think what catapulted his career was his coverage of Muhammad Ali.
No question.
So those two together were jiving and weaving, and they were great, and they'd get on stage together and just entertain people. It could have been a comedy show.
Right. So it became a bit of a shtick. They developed this great friendship, Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali. And you can't talk about Muhammad Ali's career as a boxer, his career in sport, without talking about Howard Cosell, because there was this symbiotic relationship that you're describing. And you remember all of the exchanges where Cosell, you think, would be asking an impertinent question, a provocative question, and Ali would kind of flip the script, and they would go back and forth, basically busting each other's chops. And it was great TV, and it was entertaining. And by the way, Ali answered the question too.
Now the truth is, you have told me repeatedly, privately, you don't want to train anymore. Deep in your heart, you don't ever want to fight again. The reason you will fight again is because of the marital entanglement and your present need for money. Isn't that? Let's put it on the table. Isn't that true?
No, sir, that's not true. As far as money is concerned, we never get enough money. Rockefeller is still looking for it. J. Paul Getty is still looking for it. And Howard Hughes' firm is still looking for it. And I'm still looking for it. And you are still looking for it. And you called me up yesterday, and you set this thing up, and you know you need me more than I need you. That's why I came here to do this show. Keep that in your mind with all your smart questions. You need me more than I need you.
Well, it's entirely probable, although it's a matter to conjure with.
And also, I heard some
And if I do, you've got a scoop, Buster. Now listen to me.
Some friends of mine told me you wouldn't eat my candy bar. There's a Muhammad Ali candy bar. You're laughing. You wouldn't eat the chocolate. You don't like chocolate.
Well,
so you know what that means.
Yeah, I know what that means.
Yeah, so that was in 1977, the end of Ali's career. Just gives you a flavor of the exchange, and that's when they had developed a great friendship. And then subsequently, I remember an event where they were celebrating Howard Cosell's 50 years in broadcasting, and Ali was featured in that fete of Cosell as well. Well,
his body was flown home last night while you were sleeping to Louisville, and they're going to have a big parade, a celebration on Friday before they have a church service. And Bill Clinton, Billy Crystal, right?
Billy Crystal did a good
Brian
impersonation
Gumbel.
of Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, those three are going to be delivering the eulogy. But it's so strange because all the local TV cameras were in Hyde Park near 79th, in Hyde Park at his mansion there, and they think that this is really Muhammad Ali's hometown because he moved here in 1968. He raised his kids here, and they think that this is his hometown, not Louisville.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get into things that are difficult, but like any person,
he had homes.
What?
He had homes. Like
No.
different homes, different wives and children?
Well, that's kind of where I was going, is like any person, his life is, textured. There are complications to it. And a part of him is he was married 4 times, and he had at least 9 children, including 2 children, 2 quote-unquote love children during his second marriage. And there was reports Muhammad Ali Jr., his only son, was living in a garret somewhere in a Chicago slum as late as 2013, and he had been ostracized from his father for more than a decade prior to that. In addition to the fact that those 2 love children were fathered by women who were 16 and 17.
Wait, excuse me?
I mean, dude, it's one of those questions where you have this transcendental figure like Ali, and do you report on some of the aspects of his life that perhaps were less than honorable, were certainly more complicated? And it's always interesting how people that have stature, how some people get a pass on certain transgressions or peccadillos and other people don't. Now, Ali is essentially getting a pass. There's not a lot of people talking about that.
I had no idea about the 16-year-old and the 17-year-old girl.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Okay. And never faced any charges? Never?
No.
Okay. Well, some people were upset with him because I know he was a draft dodger and just...
Well, that's another part of it.
When he moved to Chicago, Mayor Daley at the time was not pleased and called him out on it and said pretty much that he's not welcome here.
Right. His conviction was subsequently overturned and vacated, but that's right. And so, there were people, particularly during the height of the Vietnam War, where you had 50,000 Americans that were killed in action. And, the question, frankly, that was that circled around Bill Clinton when he ran for president. Well, gosh, I wonder who took your place and what happened to them.
What about Donald Trump? He had 5 draft deferments.
Well,
and that's flat feet. I don't know.
Well, this is, you go through,
thing, right.
There's questions about Dan Quayle, there's questions about W. I mean, they're both in the National Guard, but questions about special treatment.
Why don't they see combat?
So, these are, and frankly, these were some of the controversies. He did take a lot of heat back in the day for his conscientious objection to serving in Vietnam. There's no question
and we have that file video from him from the 60s. We'll get it for you. But him describing why he's not going to Vietnam.
Mike in Kewanee, Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning, Amy and Dan. Thanks for taking my call. I don't fault Ali, just listening to the show there while I was on hold, for dodging the draft at all. If I'm gonna kill for money, I'll work for the Gambino family, not for the U.S. government. But anyway, I think Ali, he pulled it off. He was a great fighter. He was a great entertainer, good humanitarian.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that I can't forgive him for is I think he invented trash talk. And that wormed its way.
He was the greatest because he told us he was the greatest.
Well, but he did it in a way.
He joked around about it.
He did it in a way that was poetic. That was entertaining.
It got hijacked by the NBA, the NFL, rap stars,
women's tennis,
and
when they grunt, you mean?
Women's tennis. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
There you go, women's tennis. So I mean, maybe it was something that was going to unfold anyway, but he gave credibility to it, and I think we could have waited a few years before trash talk infected our society.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate it.
Good guy. All right, thanks.
And now it's infected its way into the presidential campaign.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, breezy with some sun, a shower or thunderstorm in spots this afternoon, a high near 79 degrees. Tonight, no rain, just cloudy skies. And for tomorrow, freezing cooler with clouds and sun. Again, an afternoon shower in spots, a high of 68 degrees. Let's get the travel times. How's the road work going? Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Most of the overnight road work is gone. Happy to report. Still some on the westbound Adams Tollway, I-90 from 53 to Roselle Road. There's a right lane closure there till 6 this morning. We're not seeing significant delays. Roadwork's gone on the Eisenhower. The Edens is all clear. Kennedy as well. No delays to report on the Stevenson yet. In Mount Orion, traffic starting to bunch up just a little bit approaching downtown. And as usual, same goes to the Bishop Ford approaching the Ryan. 190 is okay for now. You'll likely see some airport traffic, though, in the near future. Tollway's good. There's road work on the Indiana Toll Road in eastern LaPorte County, but otherwise northwest Indiana is fine. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Hey, your kids won't be thinking about school very much this summer, but it's the perfect time for you to think about where you'll be sending your child back to school this fall. And more parents are thinking about private school, and maybe that's you as well. Private school has never been more affordable thanks to halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find school vouchers for full year tuition at, you guessed it, half the price. There's no catch. Simply go online, pick a school near you, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's that simple. Schools are in Romeoville, Libertyville, Grays Lake, Palos Heights, even Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, Chicago, Arlington Heights, just to name a few. But don't delay. Summer won't last forever, and school will be starting again before you know it. So visit halfpriceschools.com today. Many of these vouchers have already sold out, so don't wait. halfpriceschools.com.
Lately, it seems you're not feeling quite right, as if your body is working against you. Dr. Amy and Associates can help create a path to achieve optimal health. Experience personalized health care for your mind, body, and spirit at a practice that blends holistic and traditional medicine.
Dr. Amy has really helped me. After experiencing a divorce in my 50s, I wasn't sure how to handle the stress and changes I was about to encounter. I needed to find a new profession since my ex-husband and I had worked together at our own company, plus there were other challenges with our own grown kids, family, and friends. It was wonderful to have Dr. Amy's guidance through this difficult situation. She kept me on track and assured me I was thinking correctly. She made a very hard time easier, and I will forever be grateful. If you're going through some hard life struggles, I would highly recommend Dr. Amy and Associates.
Call Dr. Amy and Associates to experience a whole person integrative approach to health and wellness. 630-980-1400 or visit dramyandassociates.com. Dr. Amy and Associates, empowering people, changing lives.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Remembering Ali, we have something else to remember on this day, June 6th. June 6th, 1944, the D-Day invasion.
D-Day invasion.
Yes.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Remembering the D-Day invasion and the brave men from the Greatest Generation who freed Europe from the grasp of Nazism, saved Western civilization. And so we want to remember them as well. You know Dick Duchessois?
Yes, I do.
The owner of
the Arlington Park. And
formerly, now it's Churchill Downs, but still, I think, a plurality stakeholder.
We're always going to call it Arlington Park.
World War II veteran, Dick Duchessois.
Oh. Was he there on D-Day?
He was in the Battle of the Bulge.
Really?
And I remember talking to him a couple of years ago, and he was actually zipped up.
In a body bag?
Yeah. And he had to say, "I'm not dead." I mean, think about that. Think about, what he went on to do, the fortune he went on to build, and, of course, the success that he had in business, particularly the horse racing business. But think about that. Just another 21-year-old, I don't know how old he was at the time, infantryman in the U.S. Army at the Battle of the Bulge, and how close he came and how different the world would have been. Right? I mean, these stories are incredible.
I went to Honor Flight Chicago with Milton Schwartz, and he's from Glenview, and he was there on D-Day, and he said, I asked him, as a Jewish American, was it different for you than other Americans I went to fight? And he said, yeah. He said, because of what they did to all of our people.
Sure, of course.
But also, too, if we didn't win this war, we'd all be speaking German right now, because they would have never stopped until they took over and landed in America.
Well, I can't help but wonder how Father Dennis Holtschneider.
Oh, should we have a moment of silence?
The president of DePaul is remembering D-Day. And I say that because if you don't remember, then I'll refresh your recollection. If you haven't heard this, then you should. And it can't be a more opportune day to revisit this issue. This from a couple of weeks ago when Milo Yiannopoulos, who's the tech editor for Breitbart, appeared at DePaul University to give a speech. And he was ultimately shouted down, and a bunch of students essentially took over the auditorium where he was speaking and wouldn't let him speak. Right? And then because of the apparently threats made to his person by some of those protesters, Yiannopoulos agreed to just shut down the event and call it off.
Yeah.
Well, Father Dennis Holzschneider, who's the president of DePaul University, the largest Catholic university in the country, he wrote a letter. He was in France on a mission with some of his trustees to learn about the life and legacy of St. Vincent de Paul. Well, he wrote a letter back to the university to post on its website in response to the speech and the protest that shut down the speech. And he went through, how he disagrees with Yiannopoulos on things like a wage gap, on sexual preference. He's telling, Father Holzschneider is telling Milo Yiannopoulos, who is gay, what it means to be gay, which is just a fascinating approach. He also talked about white privilege and society. He disagrees with Yiannopoulos that doesn't exist. He went on and on and on. Now, he did say that the speech shouldn't have been shut down, that the speaker, Yiannopoulos, was invited to DePaul, and those who interrupted him were wrong to do so. But then he went on to say this, and I'm reading from his statement. Okay. This is a direct quote, so there's no misinterpretation. Here in Normandy, because they were in Normandy as part of their experience in France. Here in Normandy, I expected to be moved by the generosity of those who gave their lives on the beaches early on June 6, 1944. I did not expect, however, to be shocked when I realized that most of the soldiers were the same ages as our students today. The rows on rows of white crosses in the American cemetery speak to the selflessness of the human spirit at early adulthood to lay down their lives for a better world. I realized that many of yesterday's protesters hold similarly noble goals for a more inclusive world for those traditionally held aside by our society. I realized that many of yesterday's protesters hold similar noble goals to the men who stormed the beaches at Normandy. The cry bullies on the campus of DePaul, talk about privilege, who shut down a event because they didn't want to hear any cognitive dissonance, share the noble goals of the men who stormed the beaches in Normandy, for a more inclusive world. That's the president of DePaul University. His name, Father Dennis Holzschneider. You should contact him. You should contact that office.
How does he still have his job? I mean, with a comment like that, that's so disrespectful and just plain, that's idiotic. And he should not be in the position that he's in.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today, CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
I wonder if they had safe spaces on the beaches of Normandy.
I don't think so. Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did and call David Hochberg at Pearl Mortgage. Kim wrote, I listen to you all the time on on the radio and hope you can help my 80-year-old mother refinance her Des Plaines condo. She owes $170,000. Her rate is over 6%. Her credit is good. She receives Social Security, and the monthly payments are killing her. My mom would like to refinance, but she's not working, and her condo isn't FHA approved, so she can't do a reverse mortgage. I hope you can help my mom lower her payments. Well, David is working with Kim and her mother to refinance into a lower rate and reduce her payment. Now, if you'd like to see if David can reduce the rate of your loan or one of your family members' loans, then call David now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. Pro Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dilbert creator Scott Adams thinks Trump is going to win in a landslide, but his endorsement goes to at 5:38.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Good Monday morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 64 degrees and some fog. The greatest has gone home. Muhammad Ali's body flown back to Louisville, Kentucky yesterday. Former President Bill Clinton set to speak at a memorial service on Friday, joined by actor Billy Crystal and broadcaster Bryant Gumbel. George Foreman recalled his 1974 fight yesterday with Ali in the Rumble in the Jungle.
I was shocked. I hit him with everything, and about the sixth round, a little early, he started whispering in my ear, "Is that all you got, George?" That was a horrible situation because that was all I had at that time.
George Foreman on Muhammad Ali, the legendary fighter, dead at the age of 74. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders neck and neck in a new California poll ahead of tomorrow's primary. Clinton campaign manager John Podesta.
She's gotten 3 million more votes than Senator Sanders, and that she has now 270 pledged delegate lead on him. We expect that to either be the same or maybe expand by a little bit.
California and New Jersey, 2 of 7 states holding presidential primaries tomorrow. A planned meeting between Florida Governor Rick Scott and likely Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump is off for now. Scott dealing with Tropical Storm Colin gaining strength as it approaches Florida's Gulf Coast. Several Paris train stations and roads remain closed, shut down as crews pump out water from key highway interchanges after the worst flooding in 3 decades along the Seine River, causing it to burst its banks. A man facing vehicular homicide charges this morning and attempted murder after a Memphis police officer was struck and killed over the weekend.
Officer Smith was transported to Regional 1 in critical condition, where he later succumbed to his injuries.
Memphis Police Department Director Mike Rawlings, Justin Welch, accused of shooting 3 people before running over police officer Verdell Smith. Officials say a West Point cadet from Northwest Indiana, one of 9 soldiers killed Thursday in Texas floodwaters. The Chesterton native and 11 other soldiers were on a training mission at Fort Hood. And a police officer and another man are hurt following a 2-vehicle crash in Barrington Hills. Authorities say the officer's squad car and another vehicle collided early yesterday near County Lake Road and Bellwood Drive. Arizona beat the Cubs. Tigers over the White Sox. Copa America, Venezuela at Soldier Field, a 1-0 winner over Jamaica. The news service of GNC. Fuel your summer fun at GNC. Top products to fuel every athlete are buy one, get one half off. Fuel your training, fuel your recovery, fuel your wallet. At GNC, it's buy one, get one half off, store-wide, mix and match, now through June 27th at GNC. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher doesn't want to hear any more talk of a contested convention.
More and more Americans who would vote Republican or independent are gravitating to Donald Trump. With all due respect to the maybe Mitt Romney crowd, please don't stub your toe anymore. You guys have stubbed your toes on this stuff enough. You've been wrong over and over again. Please try to stop being so wrong.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Tea times, golf outings, driving range, golf academy, brunch, dinner, weddings, banquets, receptions. Find and do it all at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Info online at bolingbrookgolfclub.com.
Flex Execs is a talent recruiting firm who, for almost 3 decades, has helped their clients become more competitive by identifying the right talent for interim assignments or special projects at the mid to senior level. Flex Execs' roster of talent is superior and unmatched. Flex Execs will help you meet your deadlines and goals, control costs, and place the right people who will deliver desired results. Whether you need one person or a team of people in HR, accounting, finance, marketing, operations, or senior leadership, Flex Execs can help. Their clients trust them to find the right people fast who produce results immediately. Connect online with Flex Execs at flex2016.com or call 630-655-0563 and ask for Chris Swanson or Karen Murphy. That's 630-655-0563 or online at flex2016.com. Flex Execs, proud to be a sponsor of Dan and Amy's Business Tour. Flex Execs online at flex2016.com. Flex2016.com. Flex Execs, moving business at the speed of trust.
5:36. Let's get an update on the early morning roads in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
All clear on the Kennedy right now. 20 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound the same. Traffic is getting a little heavy on westbound 190 approaching O'Hare. Edens is clear. No delays to report yet on the Eisenhower. On Stevenson, traffic is starting to bunch up past Pulaski. They're prepared to tap the brakes in that area. It's also heavy on the ramp to the Ryan. The Ryan has delays from the Stevenson to the Burn Circle. Express lane delays start at Pershing. It's 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound fine at 15. Bishop Ford, a little slowing now, approaching the merge. Tollways look good. There is an Elgin, a water main break this morning, which is expected to keep Lawrence closed between Crystal and 31 through the morning rush. Traffic is a service of Subway. Try a hot, delicious Subway breakfast sandwich built just the way you want it, like egg whites and cheese with tomato and fresh spinach on toasted flatbread. Customize it with your choice of cheese, fresh veggies, Black Forest ham, or steak, even jalapenos. The Subway Sandwich Shop. Fresh is what they do. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Breezy day ahead. Some sun in the morning. Chance of a shower or thunderstorm this afternoon. High 79. 55 overnight. A high of only 68 tomorrow. But a sunny and pleasant Wednesday ahead. High 74. 59 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so we will get to some of what Trump had to say about Judge Curiel, the judge in the Trump University class action case. Trump doubling down on the Sunday talkies, sitting down with John Dickerson at Face the Nation and Jake Tapper on CNN to discuss some of the comments he's made about the judge, and a lot of reactions coming in about what Trump has had to say about the judge and the fact that he's saying anything at all, including from Trump allies like Newt Gingrich.
Yeah, Newt's not too happy because also he's expanded his ethnic criticism on judges with the John Dickerson interview. John Dickerson,
Yeah.
just saying that Muslim judges will be just as biased against him.
Well, we'll get to that in just a minute. But Scott Adams, the creator of the Dilbert cartoon, he's been kind of ahead of the learning curve with Trump, or at least one analysis of why Trump is so successful. And Adams holds himself out to be kind of an expert in how people communicate. And, he's done pretty well with the Dilbert cartoon. And he's a little bit ethereal. He's a licensed hypnotist.
Oh.
So he's a little bit new agey, but he has kind of identified some of how Trump communicates, and he thinks it's purposeful and also brilliant in terms of its persuasive ability. He has said for months and months now, and we've had some of what he's had to say on the show here, that he believes Trump will win in a landslide. And he decided on his blog over the weekend to come off the sidelines and endorse a candidate for president of the United States, reiterating his belief that Trump will win in a landslide based on his superior persuasion skills. He says in his endorsement, I'll start by reminding readers that my politics don't align with any of the candidates. My interest in the race has been, to this point, limited to Trump's extraordinary persuasion skills. And he goes on to say, Hillary is upping her game in the persuasion category.
Yeah.
And she's doing it with fear. Adams writes, if you can pull, it's good persuasion, the kind of invoking President Trump with nuclear disaster, racism, Hitler, the Holocaust, whatever else makes you tremble in fear. Adams writes, this is good persuasion if you can pull it off because fear is a strong motivator. It's also a sharp pivot from Hillary's prior approach of talking about her mastery of policy details, her experience, and her gender. He sees Hillary as dangerous Donald versus crooked Hillary. Well, crooked Hillary is effective for Trump, and dangerous Donald has much more upside to be effective for Hillary as a tool of persuasion. The only downside, he writes, Adams, I can see to her new approach is it's likely to trigger a race war in the United States. Well, that's a slight downside. A race war in the United States. That is a
minor detail.
That is a downside. Listen to what he writes. And he also says, if Clinton successfully pairs Trump with Hitler in your mind, as she's doing, I mean, the idea of Trump and Hitler, I disagree with you, sir, Hitler. It's just so silly.
When did she use the Hitler analogy?
I don't know that
Because I don't think she ever has. I have never heard her.
She hasn't maybe invoked it directly, but a lot of the left has made the reference. I mean, they call George W. Bush Hitler. Anybody they disagree with, the cry-bullies on the left, they call it Hitler. But he writes, Adams, if Clinton successfully pairs Trump with Hitler in your mind, as she is doing, and loses anyway, about a quarter of the country will think it's morally justified to assassinate their own leader. I mean, wow. Okay. So this is, Adams is a little woo. So despite that, he goes, I've decided to endorse Hillary Clinton for president for my personal safety. For my personal safety. Trump supporters don't have any bad feelings about patriotic Americans such as myself, so I'll be safe from that crowd. But Clinton supporters have convinced me, and here I'm being 100% serious, that my safety is at risk if I'm seen as supportive of Trump. So I'm taking the safe way out and endorsing Hillary Clinton for president. You understand what he's saying? He's saying
it's a safer option.
Well, he's not saying it's a safer option for the country. He's saying if Donald Trump wins, Hillary supporters are going to, burn the countryside and come after Donald Trump supporters. That's what he's saying. I've decided to endorse Hillary Clinton for president for my personal safety because of what he's seen, like at that San Jose protest fight that broke out last week. Clinton supporters have convinced me, and I'm being 100% serious, writes Scott Adams, that my safety is at risk if I'm seen as supportive of Trump. Do you think your safety is at risk if you support Trump? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line, or is Scott Adams just a little paranoid?
You cannot wear Make America Great Again hats at certain CPS schools. You can't support Donald Trump. If you do, you will get bullied in school. The kids know who the Donald Trump supporters are in elementary school and who their parents, and if their parents are supporting Trump, and their safety is at risk.
So
Trust me.
The kids are going to come. The kids in grammar school are going to come after parents like that kid who wanted his $2 and Better Off Dead. I mean, they're going to bully the parents.
I'm just saying. I know one kid for sure, a sixth grader, who likes Donald Trump because his dad likes Donald Trump. And he said so on the playground, and he got beat up because
beat up by
other kids.
The Cackle Caucus, beat up by like the Lakeview ladies supporting Hillary.
No, the kids who are, a lot of them are anchor babies, and they don't like Donald Trump, and they're fearful that their parents are going to be deported. They don't really know what's going on, Dan. All they hear him say is, we're going to deport people, we're going to get rid of 11 million people, and that's what they hear, and that's what they're afraid of. So anybody who likes Donald Trump, they do not like that kid.
But isn't that a fascinating statement? A rather stunning statement for Scott Adams to say he is concerned
What's
about
his ethnic background? Is he?
I don't know.
I mean, his name is
name's
Scott Adams.
I don't know.
Adams or just Scott Adams?
No, but he's afraid.
Uh-huh.
The point is his ethnic background. Say he is afraid for his physical safety. He's being serious.
Yeah.
Afraid for his physical safety because he thinks the barbarian hordes supporting the cackler are going to, exact physical vengeance if Trump is elected.
Well, 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
Now,
Grab a line.
that is rather frightening.
She hasn't laughed like that in a while. Have you noticed she's changed her tune and her tone, and she's not a screamer?
Well, she's coughing again.
No, no.
Turn and cough, Hillary. Yeah, no, it feels right.
It feels good, yeah.
So
Can I have my glove back?
Oh, right. Moon River, using the whole hand, Doc. I must admit, when I hear that laugh, that cackle.
She just hasn't been doing it lately.
But when I do hear
it, what
I,
happens?
I fear for my safety. Oh my, seriously.
It's unlike anything we've ever seen in our lives.
That is, think of the scariest movie you've seen.
I saw a scary movie last night.
Like The Conjuring, for example. Say, did you see that?
I don't watch scary movies.
I
saw Friday the 13th, part 1, and never again.
There's a scene where the woman is, the wife in the movie is like at the top of the stairs in the basement with her back against the door. And then out of the darkness comes two hands that clap right next to her.
Okay, why are you doing that to me? Will you stop it?
Because I want you to feel what I feel when I hear the cackler. That's how afraid I am. It's not human, that laugh. Stop it. Mike in Evergreen Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. It's back.
Hi.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
Hey, didn't one of our mayors from the 20s and 30s physically muscle at the voting booth the voters to put the mayor back in? And from what's going on, what I can see here with Trump and what, you're afraid to vote for Trump? This scares me right here, what's going on.
Yeah, which part scares you? Hillary's laugh or?
No, that scares me too. But the part that scares me is what people are afraid to vote for Trump because of their safety. I'm more afraid not to vote for Trump because of the way these people are acting. You might as well just have, a Black Panther standing there with Billy Club saying vote for Clinton at the voting booth.
Yeah.
Same thing. At least if I got to vote for Hillary, what forced me to do it.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Susan in Frankfurt.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Susan.
Good. So my son he's 16, he's going to be 17, he can't vote, but he wanted a shirt that says, "Let's make America great." And he wore it to school. He used to go to the old Lincoln Way North, which is closed now, thanks to our political government. But, so anyways, he went to ask his teacher if he could go to the bathroom, and she goes, "Not wearing a shirt like that." Mm-hmm. And so he goes, "Are you kidding me?" And she's like, "No." She's like, that shirt's, you're not going to the bathroom. You can go to another class. I'm not giving you a pass to go to the bathroom. And even though he can't vote, he came home very upset. Now, I did not complain to the school, although I am calling the radio, so I'm sure lots of people will hear this. But it's to me, that sets a precedence that he's like a bad person because he wore a
they think he's racist.
Shirt.
So
seriously, they think he's
ostracized
racist.
And he can't use the bathroom. That's a little bit draconian, I think, in terms of a teacher's response for a disagreement. You should call the school and identify that teacher. Thanks for the call, Susan.
It's happening everywhere. Trust me.
Mike on the Northwest Side.
How you doing?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, I had a buddy of mine who attended a basketball game at Simeon High School, and when he came out from the game, he had a Trump sticker on his car, and they busted all his windows in his car and said, "We don't like people like Trump around here." So I can understand where you're coming from when you're saying this.
All right.
It's very true.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Well, maybe Scott Adams is onto something then. Candace in DuPage.
First of all, you don't put it on your car. I know that. I have a lot of bumper stickers that are conservative, but I would never put a Trump one on my car, okay? But I will wear a T-shirt, and I will wear a hat, okay, because I'm not afraid of people. And if somebody does something to me, I will fight back. And I start my Krav Maga class on Thursday.
You start your what?
I'm going to be ready for these people, but I'll be damned if I'm going to let some nasty third world country idiot decide how I'm going to vote. Don't talk about how you're going to vote and go in and vote how you want to vote.
Wait, what class are you starting?
Krav Maga, Israeli fighting class.
Oh, we'll soon see Candace in the octagon.
Yeah, I'm going to be ready for these pigs. I'm going to be ready for them.
All right, thanks for the call, Candace. I'm going to put my Trump sticker on the chamber of my 38.
Don't scare me.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Sunshine right now. It looks nice until by this afternoon we're going to have a thunderstorm in spots. What are you laughing at?
Text from Steve at 88. New slogan for that woman in Frankfurt whose son was bullied by the teacher who wouldn't let the son go to the bathroom, or her son go to the bathroom. New slogan, hold it for Hillary.
That's good. And
I love it.
Weather's going to be good until this afternoon when we're a shower or thunderstorm in spots. A high of 79 degrees. And tomorrow it's going to be cool. Back into the 60s we go. We're going to have some clouds and sun and can't rule out an afternoon shower in spots. A high only of 68 degrees. Let's get those travel times. How's it going out there, Jim Telemonte?
Good morning, Amy and Dan. It's getting heavy at O'Hare, as you'd expect. There's some midway traffic, too, affecting the outbound Stevenson right now. A little slow, Pulaski to Central. You've got a 2 or 3 minute delay. You can expect some heavy traffic on Cicero Avenue and Central. The inbound Stevenson's getting heavier. Delays Lamont Road to County Line and Harlem to Kedzie. 42 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Inbound Eden, slow early, Foster to the junction. 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 21 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24. And westbound 190 has delays from the Kennedy to Manheim. On Eisenhower, 33 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 5 at 29. Ryan, 18 minutes from 95th to the Loop. Jim Talamonte of the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I don't feel no ways tired.
I love my Catholic school. My teachers help me to succeed academically. In fact, students at the Catholic schools and the Joliet Diocese are ahead in every category academically, by 20 to 30 points compared to national norm. And 92% of 7th graders meet or exceed growth expectations in reading, language, math, science, and social studies.
You just heard my daughter talk about why she loves her Catholic school. And as a parent, I may not be able to control what is happening in our culture, but I can control how my children are educated. And I do that by sending them to a Catholic school where they have the moral foundation to make the right choices based on the teachings of the Catholic Church. If you want to provide your children with a moral compass to navigate our culture, consider sending him or her to a Catholic school.
Now you can join me at my school. Participating Catholic elementary schools in the Joliet Diocese, and in conjunction with the Catholic Education Foundation, are offering a $1,500 tuition transfer grant to any student who transfers from a public, private, charter, or homeschool. Restrictions apply. For more information, go to www.weteachmore.com.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. The LASIK Vision Institute is now offering dramatically low prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology for a fraction of what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-700-6651. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra 20% discount off our already low-cost services. We've already performed over 1 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve at a fraction of what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-700-6651. 1-800-700-6651.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream idea brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, afraid to vote for Donald Trump for fear of violent reprisals from the left? That's the question. Seems to be some cause for concern. Yeah, it seems to be. Matt and McHenry, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, how's my favorite morning team?
I don't know how Eric and Kathy are doing.
Hey, ho. No, we're doing well, Matt.
Good. Hey, I got some words of wisdom for that millennial marshmallow-eating wuss of a man. Put your big boy pants on, put your hat on, and say, come and take it, punk.
Yeah, there you go.
I've had it with the wussifying of America. They can get away with it, but we can't. Bring it on, big boy. I hope you bring your A game when you go to take my Trump hat. I got something for you.
All right, Matt. Thanks for the call. Well, not all Trump supporters are going to roll over and support Hillary out of fear. You could take Matt McHenry's Make America Great hat when you pry it from his cold, dead head.
Believe me. You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You know the name Barbara Walters. Now remember the company, Ameritrust Mortgage.
Ameritrust Mortgage was formed along with a talented professional staff that makes your mortgage process easy, swift, and cost-efficient for you, the home buyer, and for those who refinance. Ameritrust is all-inclusive, start to finish, the way lending should be. At Ameritrust, we believe it has been our privilege to have helped thousands of people over 30 years with purchasing or refinancing their home. We are here to help. Let us customize a loan program for your specific needs, FHA, VA, or conventional. At Ameritrust, the responsibility belongs to me. It's my name on the door. I am the president. I am Barbara Walters. Call Ameritrust now, 815-459-7303. Again, that number is 815-459-7303. Or visit us at am560myhome.com.
Ameritrust Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee number 720. NMLS number 217229.
Coming up on Chicago. Oh no, this isn't coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. What are we doing here? Oh,
coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the Donnelly Wild West discussion.
Yes,
coming up right now.
It is because Dan, like all parents, I'm always looking for something fun to do with the kids. Yeehaw! And I have a big time suggestion. Donnelly's Wild West Town. It's a Western theme park just a short drive from Chicago and Union, Illinois. It's open every day now from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, one admission fee includes everything. It's fun, really, that everyone in the family can experience together, and there's really nothing else like it. Rides, attractions. The boys loved panning for gold. There's shooting slingshots. There's a Wild West show that you're going to love. There's a museum, a petting zoo for Dan Proft, and there's great food and a lot more. Parents, grandparents, creepy single men like Dan, everyone will enjoy a day together at Wild West Town.
Finally, a place for me, too.
Yes. It's interactive family fun. Dan, you could go there and you can find a family to hang out with. So check out the details at wildwesttown.com. That's wildwesttown.com. It's a great outing for groups, too, like daycares, church groups, anybody. Wild West Town, open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Donnelly's Wild West Town. It's good old-fashioned family fun. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump doubles down on his antagonism towards Judge Curiel. We'll have reactions at 6:06.
And later, what to do when a pit bull attacks your neighbor. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
And more music from Dale Evans and Roy Rogers coming up as well, too, later on in the show. Police are investigating the death of a 2-month-old boy here in the city of Chicago. We'll have details on that developing story for you this morning. A second man charged in a woman's death on Lakeshore Drive. 11 hurt when a casino bus crashes on the Dan Ryan. There's word that Senate Minority Leader Christine Radonio is talking about a short-term budget deal coming in the month of June. And an officer and a man hurt in a Barrington Hills crash. Cubs and Sox stumble on Sunday in a breezy and sunny day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony.
We're going to have a very contentious campaign.
Hillary Clinton readying even more attacks for Donald Trump as she closes in on the Democrat nomination. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, after her win in Puerto Rico, Clinton is only about 30 delegates away from locking up the Democratic nomination for president, telling ABC's This Week she'll have
A majority of pledged delegates by the close of voting on Tuesday.
Polls show Clinton in a tight race with Bernie Sanders in California. The Vermont senator says he's fighting for every last delegate and told supporters in San Diego that his campaign can
regain the Senate and win governor's chairs all across this country. We are that campaign.
Sanders says he's taking his fight for the nomination all the way to the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia. Dave.
Rachel, it's early in the season and there's already a third tropical storm, Colin, headed for Florida's Gulf Coast.
Here we go again. That's it. I mean, we're used to it.
He's in Pasco County.
As we head into late tonight, it could be making landfall across portions of Florida as a tropical storm forecast to have winds of still about 50 miles per hour, so it could intensify a little bit further. We'll keep a close watch on it.
Fox meteorologist Miriam Leah, the storm expected to dump as much as 8 inches of rain across western Florida into Georgia, then later the Carolinas. A white Georgia police officer who shot a man who was naked and unarmed last year goes to court today to enter his plea. The family of the victim says he was a U.S. Air Force veteran struggling with mental health problems. A secret concert led to chaos early this morning in New York City.
I just want to see Kanye.
Kanye West tweeted he would do a show at 2 a.m. in a small club, and more than 4,000 people showed up.
There was just a mass group of people in the street, and everything kind of got hectic really quickly.
Some climbed on top of cars or dumpsters or scaffolding to get a closer view. Then the concert was canceled. And all those people left disappointed didn't get to see Kanye West. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Sunshine at 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. A strong spring storm didn't stick around long, but damaging winds toppled trees and left about 40,000 without power in southeast Wisconsin. National Weather Service issued a thunderstorm warning Sunday evening as that fast-moving storm approached. Large hail, powerful winds up to 70 mile an hour snapped trees in southeast Wisconsin, prompting We Energy crews to get out and try and restore power overnight. A West Point cadet from northwest Indiana, one of the 9 soldiers killed last Thursday in a Texas flooded creek. The Chesterton native and 11 other soldiers on a training mission at Fort Hood when their vehicle got stuck and then was overturned in a flooded creek. The 21-year-old, set to graduate from West Point in 2018, Indiana Governor Mike Pence orders all flags in that state at state facilities to be lowered to half-staff until his funeral. Chicago police are investigating a possible homicide following the death of a 2-month-old boy on the city's southwest side. Bryson Holman died after being found unresponsive Saturday in a home at Kedzie Avenue and 83rd Place. Some Illinois lawmakers are a little more optimistic this morning about a stopgap budget deal being reached. Senate Republican leader Christine Radogno hinted at that stopgap deal with Dan and Amy last week, but again told reporters over the weekend she believes lawmakers will reach an agreement on a short-term plan by the end of June. 11 are recovering after a casino bus crashes on the Dan Ryan on Chicago's south side. The bus collided with another vehicle yesterday near 63rd. Police officer and a man are hurt following a 2-vehicle crash in Barrington Hills at County Lake Road and Bellwood Drive. Arizona beat the Cubs 3-2. Detroit over the White Sox 5-2. Copa America, a 1-0 win for Venezuela over Jamaica at Soldier Field. NBA Finals Game 2 goes to the Golden State Warriors blowing out Cleveland. The news, a service of GNC. Fuel your summer fun at GNC. Top products to fuel every athlete are buy one, get one half off. Fuel your training. Fuel your recovery. Fuel your wallet. At GNC, buy one, get one half off. Store-wide, mix and match. Now through June 27th at GNC. 6:04, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
So Trump says Hillary is playing the gender card. Hillary thinks Trump is abusive to women. Hillary gets her personal newspaper, the New York Times, to write a 9-page story about it. Trump thinks Hillary's hubby was the abuser-in-chief and claims Hillary turned on the victims. Earth to candidates. We don't care. We do care about defending this country against terrorism, rebuilding the military, controlling the border, and creating good jobs. Let's talk about that. Give us a plan. That might get you elected. Stick around for more good ideas. AM 560. The Answer.
This is Pete. I've had 3 missing teeth and have been thinking for a while about getting something done to get them replaced. I went to Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics to see what they could do, and I'm glad that I did that. The staff there was fantastic. Dr. Neruzzi made sure I was comfortable during the entire process, always checking to make sure there was no pain. All my visits were very pleasant, and I'm glad I had it done. Another piece that made it fantastic was they worked with me on the payment. As all of us know, these are not inexpensive items to do, so they worked with me on the payment options as well as with my insurance carrier to help minimize my out-of-pocket cost. I feel so much better now that I've had my teeth and my dental implants put in. I feel more confident as I'm walking around. For those of you out there that are missing teeth and thinking about doing this, I would recommend you see Dr. Neruzzi and his staff. They're great, and I would highly recommend them going forward.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
QL1, this is Control. Does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
That's negative, Control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly and seamlessly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage process on your own and completely online.
Copy that, QL1, but if I wanted to speak to someone, do you think they're out there?
They're out there, all right. I've made contact before. In fact, according to J.D. Power, they've provided award-winning client service for 6 years in a row.
Roger that, QL1. It's nice to know they're out there, wherever they are.
Detroit Control. They're in Detroit. Over.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket. Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
Focus. You need it to run a business, so don't let legal questions distract you. Use LegalZoom instead. Things like lease agreements and employment laws get complicated, but they're part of running a business. That's why LegalZoom built a network of independent attorneys in 48 states. You can rely on them for the legal details without paying by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. So focus on growing your business and use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
6:08 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, traffic is slow. Cumberland to Canfield and Ogden to the Burn Circle. 24 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 26. And westbound 190 has delays. From the Kennedy to Manhunt. Eden's inbound. It's a little slow approaching the junction. Outbound, it's fine. Eisenhower's now 42 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 30. Mount Stevenson delays start at 126. It's already 55 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. 38 from the Tri-State. Outbound, there's a 2-minute delay. Pulaski to Central. Ryan, 18 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57. 26 minutes. I-80 to the Merge. Bishop 18. Traffic also is a service of GNC. Fuel your summer fun at GNC. Top products to fuel every athlete are buy one, get one half off. Fuel your training. Fuel your recovery. Fuel your wallet. At GNC, it's buy one, get one half off store-wide. Mix and match now through June 27th at GNC. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, breezy with partial sunshine. A shower or thunderstorm in spots for the afternoon, high of 79. Then tonight, partly cloudy, low 55. Sunny clouds with a shower tomorrow, high 68. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
59 at O'Hare, 64 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I'm handsome, I'm fat, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
What I'm saying is, if you invoke his race as a reason why he can't do his job...
I think that's why he's doing it.
But
I think that's why he's doing it.
When Hillary Clinton says it's a racist attack...
Hillary Clinton is a stiff.
You know, look, George, I thought that the report actually made it clear that the practice I used was used by other secretaries, other high-ranking State Department officials.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning. What up, Dan and Amy? So
you're going to congratulate Hillary Clinton? She won the U.S. Virgin Islands on Saturday, and yesterday...
Virgin Islands no more.
Hey-oh! And yesterday she won Puerto Rico. Do you know people waited in line 2.5 to 3 hours to vote yesterday? But they can't vote in the general election, so this is their one and only shot to be heard. So
sure,
she beat the Burnster, and she's 29 delegates away.
They love bankrupt government in Puerto Rico. It's just like Illinois.
They do. So 29 to go.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, she's obviously going to get the nomination. Even if she loses California, she's got New Jersey as a backstop. So she's going to get to the magic number when you include all the super delegates of the rigged system the Democrats have. But we'll get to some of what Hillary had to say when she was on with Clinton Foundation donor Zero over the weekend. But first, Trump and the judge. Here come the judge, Judge Curiel, and he's still... taking a bit of a rhetorical beating from Trump. He was...
You mean the judge that's from Indiana?
Yes.
That was born in Indiana?
The Indiana-based judge.
Yes.
Even from erstwhile Trump allies, early Trump allies, Newt Gingrich was on with Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday. He had this to say.
Are you comfortable with a potential president attacking a federal judge for his heritage?
No. This is one of the worst mistakes Trump has made. And I think it's inexcusable. He has every right to criticize a judge, and he has every right to say certain decisions aren't right, and his attorneys can file to move the venue from the judge. But first of all, this judge was born in Indiana. He is an American, period. When you come to America, you get to become an American. And Trump, who has grandparents who came to the U.S., should understand this as much as anybody. Second, to characterize, if a liberal were to attack Justice Clarence Thomas on the grounds that he's black, we would all go crazy. Every conservative would say it was wrong, and it was racism. And Trump has got to, I think, move to a new level. This is no longer the primaries. He's no longer an interesting contender. He is now the potential leader of the United States, and he's got to move his game up to the level of being a potential leader.
You agree with Newt Gingrich? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. This is one of Trump's worst mistakes, a tactical blunder by Donald Trump. He needs to up his game. Do you agree with that? And do you think Newt Gingrich might be off the VP list now after those comments?
No, because not only Newt Gingrich, but Mitch McConnell, Tennessee Senator Bob Corker, they all came out and went on various Sunday morning programs and pretty much said the same, that what Donald Trump did was a mistake. And, I mean, couldn't you just hear Republican leaders getting nervous about this? Because here we go again. There's no need for Donald Trump to be behaving like this. He needs to be more gracious, more presidential, dare I say, and not attack a judge because the judge isn't giving him what he wants. He's one of those people, Donald Trump, where he wants what he wants it, and he wants it now.
Mitch McConnell told a Baltimore radio station, I don't think it adds any value whatsoever to the discourse. And it's something about him that I don't care for. He wants Trump to change and stop with the name calling. Here's what I would say on this. I think Trump is obviously doing this purposefully, and I think it makes some sense for him in this way. He just essentially laid out the foundation for the Trump University class action suit going against him. right? He's done two things. One, we're not talking about Trump University anymore and whether that was a fraudulent university. We're not talking about the sum and substance of the civil case against him and the thousands of plaintiffs involved in that class action suit against him. We're not talking about that.
3 more lawsuits were filed over the weekend, by the way.
Right. And we're not talking about that, and we're talking about whether what Trump said is racist. That's part of it. But also, Trump has now an argument that regardless of the outcome, if it goes against him, it was unfair. The thing was wired against me from the beginning because the judge doesn't like me for my political views, and thus that's why he made a series of rulings against me all the way up to potentially a jury verdict against him. Trump is laying the foundation for being, jacked around by the system that he's running against.
Yeah, and he says Judge Curiel doesn't like him because he's going to build a wall, as he told Jake Tapper last night.
I ask you about comments you made about the judge in the Trump University case. You said that you thought it was a conflict of interest that he was the judge because he's of Mexican heritage, even though he's from Indiana. Yeah. Hillary Clinton said that is a racist attack on a federal judge.
Oh, I know. She's so wonderful, here's a woman that should be put in jail for what she did with her emails, and she's commented. I'll tell you what it has to do. I have had ruling after ruling after ruling that's been bad rulings, okay? I've been treated very unfairly. Before him, we had another judge. If that judge was still there, this case would have been over 2 years ago. Let me just tell you, I have had horrible rulings. I've been treated very unfairly by this judge. Now, this judge is of Mexican heritage. I'm building a wall, okay? I'm building a wall.
Yeah, and so that was rinsed and repeated, that exchange between Tapper and Trump a number of times. Now, interestingly, in an op-ed in the Washington Post, former George W. Bush Attorney General Alberto Gonzales, he of Mexican heritage, said that Trump is right to question the fairness of the judge. Curiel is reportedly a member of a group called the Rasa Lawyers of San Diego. Trump aides have indicated they believe Curiel is a member of National Council of La Raza, a vocal organization that has vigorously condemned Trump and his views on immigration. The two groups are unaffiliated, and Curiel is not a member of NCLR, but Trump may be concerned that the Lawyers Association or its members represent or support the other advocacy organization. Coupled with that question is the fact that in 2014, when he certified the class action lawsuit against Trump, Curiel appointed Robbins Geller law firm to represent plaintiffs, and Robbins Geller has paid $675,000 in speaking fees since 2009 to the Clintons.
Well, then why didn't Donald Trump say that?
He has said that, actually, and he referenced that in the Tapper interview. He did.
Okay.
And then Gonzalez goes on to say, it might not be unreasonable for a defendant in Trump's position to wonder who Curiel favors in the presidential election. Now, Gonzalez was not defending Trump's comments about Curiel's heritage, but he was saying there's a legitimate basis to question Curiel's impartiality. Now, that said, if that's what the Trump and his legal team actually believed, then they could move for Judge Curiel to recuse himself from the trial, and they haven't done that yet. And
they wanted him to recuse himself at the beginning of the trial. They didn't want him to take on this case.
Well, but they haven't formally, as I understand, they have not made a motion for the judge to recuse himself. But here's an interesting piece in the Wall Street Journal on this topic, too. Included in their denunciation of Trump's rhetoric, the Wall Street Journal editorial board writes, apart from his racist implications, Mr. Trump is indulging in the left's habit of attributing the motivations of everyone and everything to race, class, gender, and sexual orientation. And isn't Mr. Trump supposed to be running against such thinking? What about this, though? What about this question? And it's raised by the Wall Street Journal as opposed to as it pertains to how the left looks at race and gender and class and sexual orientation. But since we're talking about race, it's okay for a judge to be nominated under the rubric of diversity.
Gender,
right? So we need more Latinas and Latinos on the bench. So it's okay to do that. It's okay to have a wise Latina like Sotomayor, self-identified.
Sotomayor.
Yeah, it's okay to have her on the Supreme Court and to do so to check the Latina box.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not okay to criticize a judge based on their ethnicity, their ethnic heritage. I mean, I don't I don't like Trump's comments. I don't think that's where you should go. I think you should say it's to the sum and substance of the case.
Well, he was basically saying Judge Curiel's racist.
Well, or that he's not necessarily saying that. He's saying that he disagrees with me about my policy on immigration, and he's holding it against me. So politics.
Okay. So Jake Tapper asked him, is this judge racist?
Is it not, when Hillary Clinton says this is a racist attack, and you reject that, if you are saying he can't do his job because of his race, is that not the definition of racism?
I don't think so at all.
No?
No. He's proud of his heritage. I respect him for that.
You're saying he can't do his job because of it.
Look, he's proud of his heritage, okay? I'm building a wall.
Right.
I'm building a wall.
Well, but that's what he's going back to, saying he disagrees with me about that, and he's affiliated with organizations that have condemned me because of my position, and so that's why he's made bad rulings, or that's why he's made rulings
his
against
judgment's
me.
Clouded. Right, he's biased.
But here's the thing. To Jake Tapper, isn't that the definition of racism, saying he can't do his job because of his ethnicity? What is the word to define someone who says he can do the job because of his ethnicity? In other words, what's the difference between discriminating against and discriminating for based on race? Is it all just different shades of discrimination? I mean, Trump doesn't make that point, and by the way, he should, because this is where the left is really weak. But it seems to me this is an opportunity to highlight the hypocrisy of the gender and race and class obsessed left. Because you say it's okay to make discrimination, or to discriminate on behalf of someone because of their race or any of these other non-behavioral characteristics. But it's not okay for me to say I'm bringing his race into the equation. It's not okay for me to say that. So discriminating for, good. Discriminating against, bad. Or is all discrimination based on non-behavioral characteristics like race and gender and sexual orientation? So is all of it bad? I think that's a legitimate question. And we'll be back with your answers after this.
Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. Your phone calls next. And first, here's your forecast, though. Some sunshine right now, but breezy by this afternoon. A shower or thunderstorm in spots, a high of 79 degrees. Then tomorrow, it's going to be breezy and a lot cooler. Some sun, some clouds, an afternoon shower, a high only in the upper 60s. Let's get those travel times and the travel numbers. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. And Dan Eden's inbound. Slow Devon to the junction. 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound fine at 19. Kennedy, 26 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, it's 29 minutes. Westbound 190 has delays. The Kennedy to Manheim. About Eisenhower now 42 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 31. Stevenson's heavy. 58 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 41 from the Tri-State. Outbound, there's a 2-minute delay, Pulaski to Central. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 31 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 18. Northbound Tri-State delays from Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis. Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway stop and go from Toohey to the River Road Toll. It's also heavy now, Roselle to 53. Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I'm the chair for the company picnic committee, and I'm overwhelmed with finding the perfect catering partner.
Don't be freaked out by that. Tasty Catering has done our company picnic every year for the last 5 years. I actually went to Tasty Catering's kitchen first to taste the food. They serve juicy burgers right from the grill, fresh salads, awesome sides, and fun foods for the kids. Last year, we even had delicious brisket and an entire pig roast.
Can they handle all the details? There's not much time to plan.
Planning was even easier. Tasty Catering handled every detail, from serving pieces to inflatables for the kids, the DJ, and of course, the bar area.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Just go to tastycatering.com. The pricing was right, and our CFO signed off on the contract immediately.
The best company picnics start at tastycatering.com. View picnic menus and locations, entertainment options, and more. That's tastycatering.com.
Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 100-plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses. And right now, listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
Cutting edge. That's a concept companies strive to achieve in the world of custom packaging, design, and vendor-managed inventory. Infinity Packaging is the cutting-edge leader. If your company is cutting edge, then Infinity Packaging is your best choice. From stock and custom corrugated boxes and mailers, to film, bags, tubes, labels, and specialized inserts, no packaging challenge is too cutting edge for Infinity. Plus, a high level of service and customer contact and multiple warehouse locations truly make Infinity Packaging a premier packaging and warehousing leader nationwide. You'll receive the benefits and savings of big company purchasing power with the advantages of a small company approach to service. To learn more or schedule your company's packaging analysis, call Infinity Packaging at 847-786-2002 or visit infinitypkg.com. That's 847-786-2002 or online at infinitypkg.com. Infinity Packaging, the cutting-edge leaders in custom packaging, design, and warehousing.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, Amy, I got to tell you, look, some of these never Trumpers and these only Trumpers, they're mirror images of one another. And it's getting really tiresome because you can't have a texture conversation. You can't have, on the one hand, what we're trying to do here, say, I don't like Trump invoking Judge Curiel's heritage and making that an issue. But let's talk about how this underscores the hypocrisy of the left. It's okay to play gender and race identity in the to kneel at the altar of diversity, but it's not okay to raise it as a negative. It's only okay to raise it as a positive. It's a trait for qualification, but it's not a trait for disqualification. I got a problem with that. And so text from 708, who's a never Trumper. You guys are pathetic. Look how low you've fallen to the point you're defending a racist. Not defending anything or anyone of the sort. Here, just understand something about this show. Just understand something. We are not going to only demean Donald Trump. We are not going to only praise Donald Trump. It's going to be based on the work product that is presented to us. And that's how these discussions are going to go. So if you can't handle that, then I'm real sorry.
But Donald Trump even, over the weekend with John Dickerson, even expanded his ethnic criticism to include Muslim judges, that he wouldn't be treated fairly by Muslim judges. So you just need to take a break and
he left open.
Stop
Yeah,
talking.
I mean, it was kind of the same. It was of the same kind. If only Trump could articulate these things as well as I do.
Yes. Why don't you work on his campaign?
Sharon and Itasca, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. As usual, Dan, you do highlight the extras that the common public doesn't know about regarding this case with Donald Trump, as the Justice nominee, Mr. Alvarez, pointed out. I will tell you on a strictly visceral, regular, American citizen level, Mr. Trump is giving his foot a square kick right to the rear end of the left in this country, and they can't take back what they have been handing out to us forever. And like that Monsignor from DePaul, who has the nerve to compare people my father's age, who just turned 94 yesterday, the greatest generation with these transgender idiots and having the same noble ideals for the American country. He was probably someone who helped hide the pedophile homosexuals within the Roman Catholic Church, excuse me, as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? I have no respect for the left at all. And I also believe that Trump is absolutely correct in giving back what the rest of us have had to hear for years. And we're very happy to hear his voice, so we may not verbalize it that way ourselves.
Thanks for the call, Sharon. Janet in Mundelein.
Yeah, hi, good morning. Dan, you nailed it. We do tend to look at the good things that a specific racial or cultural background brings to the party, while we don't accept or recognize or want to accept or recognize that there could be some bad parts on that side, too. I am a white woman married to a Mexican man. We've been married for 32 years. What I learned from white people is to not recognize color. We're all the same. There are no differences. We're all American. What I learned from my Mexican side is, of course there are differences. Of course our culture molds us and affects our thinking, not in a bad way, sometimes in a bad way, sometimes in a good way. I want us to be having a discussion, as you say, Dan, that race exists. And when we have a discussion about the fact that race exists, then that isn't racism. And as you say, I wish that Donald Trump could articulate as well as you do. But I absolutely applaud what he said because he believes it, and it could very well be true. And it doesn't matter the guy's from Indiana. He's Hispanic. He's Mexican. That molds him. And a wall between the U.S. and Mexico is a frightening, staggering thing to any Mexican person, whether they're on this side or that side. And they're also not willing to have the discussion about how that would really be a good thing for Mexico, because it would finally mean that Mexico has to take care of their own problems instead of shipping them all up here.
Thanks for the call, Janet.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. After 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this, and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life. They have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com has pulled the trigger to bring you classes for Illinois gun owners. Take advantage of a new Illinois concealed carry class from Safer USA. Dave Lombardo, class instructor, is offering his concealed carry 16-hour seminar for only $150. Now, this seminar is normally $300. It covers everything you need to know to protect you and your family with a concealed carry firearm for personal protection or against a home invasion or maybe a rabid pit bull. Dave is a pro and also the host of the show On Target Radio. Get in a little range time as well with a 1-year range membership from the Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Winthrop Harbor. This is a premier gun range in Northeast Illinois, and a 1-year membership is only $149. That's a $350 value. Your range membership includes great discounts on products and services at the Outdoorsman Sports Shop. Find out all the details at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. No, that's really too soon. Also featuring great deals on many other lifestyle training classes. Get it all at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Having different identification to correspond to how you feel on any given day. Gender fluidity at 6:36.
And why people in Lakeview need guns to protect ourselves from gangbangers and from pit bulls. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, sunny and 64. Calm winds this morning. Tropical storm Colin, though, gaining speed and strength as it gets ready to strike Florida later today. Winds at about 50 miles an hour. Planned meeting between Florida Governor Rick Scott and likely presidential nominee on the Republican side, Donald Trump, off for now as Scott stays put in the Sunshine State, tracking Colin. Hillary Clinton goes into Tuesday's California primary, needing just 26 delegates to clinch the Democratic presidential nomination. Ukraine's intelligence agency, SBU, has thwarted a plot to attack soccer's European Championships in France. The SBU says it has followed a Frenchman since December and allowed him to purchase machine guns and rocket-propelled grenades and other weapons before he was arrested on the Ukrainian-Polish border late last month. A strong spring storm didn't stick around very long, but damaging winds toppled trees and left about 30,000 without power in southeast Wisconsin. A second Chicago man has been charged in the death of a woman who was struck by a pickup on Lakeshore Drive while fleeing robbers. Authorities say 32-year-old Pam Johnson was hit by that truck after a group of men started chasing her and her boyfriend while they strolled along Lakeshore Drive on May 29th. And a Minnesota bakery is recalling about 837 pounds of meat pies that were not federally inspected. The pies were made by Solomon Snacks and shipped to retailers here in Illinois and in Minnesota. Federal agency says right now there are no reports of anyone getting sick. Arizona beat the Cubs. Detroit over the White Sox. Golden State a 2-0 series advantage in the NBA Finals after blowing out the Cavaliers. The news service of GNC. Fuel your summer fun at GNC. Top products to fuel every athlete are buy one, get one half off. Fuel your training. Fuel your recovery. Fuel your wallet. At GNC, buy one, get one half off. Store-wide mix and match now through June 27th at GNC. 6:35 is our time, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager has an argument for the never Trumpers.
The Democratic Party now is so left. Hillary Clinton has moved so left. That 4 more years of left-wing domination of this country has put us on a course, or we're already on the course of a true abandonment of what America stood for. America is an idea. It is not a geographical entity.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit livewatch.com.
Hey, let's get sentimental. Think about how much your father means to you. Now ask, what am I getting Dad for Father's Day on June 19th? It's weird, but did you know that 82% of all people don't know that you're supposed to change pillows every 2 years or less? That's because pillows absorb dead skin, dirt, skin, oils, and dust mites that can cause allergies, acne, asthma, and who knows what else. So if you haven't already done so, you need a washable MyPillow, and so does your dad. I may buy one for my dog Hunter. With a 10-year warranty, it's a great gift and health investment as well. And you'll sleep better. I do. That's why MyPillow is the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. Visit MyPillow.com or call 1-800-489-0201. Use the promo code Joe for the 2-for-1 offer. Keep one for you. Do it now. 800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com. Promo code Joe. 800-489-0201.
6:37, Guardian Security Services Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens runs 27 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 21. The Kennedy now 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 55. It's Jam Division to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower now 43 minutes. Thorndale to downtown outbound 35. The Stevenson 58 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 41 from the Tri-State. Outbound, there's a 2-minute delay, Pulaski to Central. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 31 minutes. I-80 to the Murray, Teresa Ford, 19. On Tri-State slow from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, jammed. Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Adams Tollway, still Barrington to 53, and Toohey to the River Road Toll. Traffic service at GNC. Fuel your summer fun at GNC. Top products to fuel every athlete are buy one, get one half off. Fuel your training. Fuel your recovery. Fuel your wallet. At GNC, it's buy one, get one half off. Store-wide. Mix and match. Now through June 27th at GNC. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. A breezy day ahead, sunshine in the morning, chance of a late day shower or thunderstorm, and a high of 79. Currently 59 at O'Hare, 64 along the lakefront. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Live with Andrew Holmes. Get honest answers to your questions every Sunday at 12 noon.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, Dan, there's a little bit of breaking news. I don't know if you heard, but your friend David French is not going to be running for president.
Yeah, he penned a piece last night, posted on National Review, said that after careful consideration and prayer, discussions with his family, he's not going to fall for Bill Kristol's gambit of a third-party, independent, conservative run for president. I hope Bill Kristol and some of the Never Trumps, Eric Erickson, some of these other people that have been on this quixotic adventure for far too long stop, because it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I mean, if you want to take the Never Trump position and argue it from a moral or intellectual viewpoint, as many of those individuals have and others, fine. But to go on this gambit and to, to try and encourage people to subject themselves to this Sisyphean task and be ridiculed as such. I mean, for people who don't know David French, this is a serious guy, bronze medal recipient, served our country honorably, deep intellectual, the real deal when it comes to a cultural conservative who lives it as well as writes about it in a very articulate manner.
But he has a wife and 2 kids, and he had to talk to them. And, he was already getting threats even by the thought of having the option to run as a third-party conservative candidate.
The point is that you had an opportunity for months and months and months, and you couldn't put anything together, which speaks to how attractive the package that Bill Kristol and Eric Erickson and others put together, and the necessary infrastructure that's required in addition to resources, political infrastructure necessary to run for president, unless you're, an uber well-known reality television star. It's silliness, and it's embarrassing, and they should stop. Speaking of that, interesting segue.
Speaking of silliness,
this story in the Tribune, a story that if it were written 10 years ago, 15 years ago, people would be like, did you see that bizarre story in the Tribune? What the heck was that? The story, straight, gay, in between, those who don't categorize. And it's not a description of what's happening so much as it is an endorsement of what's happening. Cassidy Nordstrom might be the very embodiment of gender fluidity. Get used to that phrase.
Okay.
Add that to your vernacular.
Gender fluidity.
Yeah. When a nipple happened to slip from a favorite undershirt.
There we go.
Hello.
Hey-o.
Nipple has been called.
Hey-ho.
The time, 6:42, nipple has been called. When a nipple happened to slip from a favorite undershirt, Nordstrom was quick to flash a state ID identifying the sonic car hop as male, thereby getting out of an indecent exposure charge. And flack from a security officer suspicious of Nordstrom's gender in the women's bathroom at a club. Well, that meant whipping out a driver's license.
Thank you.
Identifying the Uptown resident as female. Now, just before I get into some interesting data from the Generation Z, 2 IDs, 2 state IDs.
2 state IDs.
Isn't that illegal?
You are only issued 1 state ID.
Well, I understand that, but isn't it actually improper to have 2 state IDs? In other words, are we going to get to a point? I mean, since she was a...
Oh, I see what you're saying. When she was a he, there was a state ID issued. Now he is a she.
She's got both.
That's not illegal.
He's got both, I guess.
There should be 1 state ID per Social Security number.
I like this. I think this is where we go. I may get involved in the gender fluidity movement because...
Make some money?
Well, I mean, to be able to enter a life of crime. Because if I'm, for example, if I burglarize a house and then the police arrest me and say, wait a second, that was Danielle Proft that burglarized that house.
Oh.
You're talking to Dan Proft. I was identifying as Danielle Proft when I robbed that house. So you have to go after Danielle or wait for me to feel like I'm Danielle again. Today, right here, as you're confronting me, I'm Dan. And Dan has an alibi.
And what's your alibi?
I mean, there's no more multiple personality disorders because whatever's in my head is correct.
Is how you
whatever's
feel.
in my head, however I feel, whatever's coming from my head cannot be challenged. So you have to go get my alter ego, not the male you see before you. You have to go get female Proft, Danielle Proft. What about that?
I think that might work.
Listen to this. Millennials are more open than than the general population about gender and sexuality. But they've got nothing on Generation Z. These are kids aged 13 to 20. Kids at 20 years old. According to a marketing comm group that's with J. Walter Thompson, a study by the group showed that about 56% of kids 13 to 20 know someone who uses gender-neutral pronouns such as they or Z, compared with 43% of 28 to 34-year-olds.
I got a good one for you.
This is how, but I mean, this is how popularized this has become.
There's a kid, I won't say what school, but she is a senior, and she last week decided to be a dash.
Dash.
She didn't want to be a he or she, similar to Prince. So my niece said her name is Dash. It's just a dash. Well, so when you write her or text her, you don't, or describe it, it's a dash, Dan.
Mm-hmm. Like I think we should all be symbols.
It's similar to
we
Prince.
Should all be androgynous symbols. Yeah, like Prince was for a time.
Dash.
Yeah, Dash.
Hey, Dash.
Those who don't categorize. Isn't that super and fun?
Hey, Dash. How you doing, Dash?
Nice. So, but it's interesting because this is being popularized, because this is being celebrated. You have younger people that feel like, well, this is where the zeitgeist is. This is what the majority opinion is. I mean, it would be fascinating to query people about what percentage of the population they think is transgendered or uncategorized, right? Because of there's this great study about asking people what percentage of the population do you think is gay, and the response, general population, the response was 25%. The actuality?
I thought it was about 25%. What is it?
The percentage of the population that's gay? You thought it was 25%?
No, some of them don't know they're gay yet.
Oh, right. Well, right. If you include those who don't know. Yes.
No, I think actually 12%.
Yeah, it's less than 2.
Really?
Less than 2%. And so, but the point is, you think it is 6 times, 10 times, 12 times more than it actually is, because you can't pick up a newspaper, you can't watch a television show without it being pushed upon you. I mean, that's kind of the whole point, is to popularize it. And this is the Alinsky tactic of making the majority feel like their opinions are those of an insular minority. And it turns out not to be true. And that's what the culture is doing to millennials and Gen Zers, making it like, well, this is normal. It's part of the rich tapestry. It occurs frequently. There's nothing to see here. In point of fact, to the extent you see anything, we should all applaud.
Well, do you think being transgender is when being gay just isn't enough, and now people have to push it one step further and be transgender? Not go through the operation becoming transsexuals, but being transgender.
I think it's I think it's in an individually specific case. So I think there's some people that are doing this for attention because it's popular.
Like, remember when everybody was bisexual in college? Oh, look.
Yes, well, that's where Cassie Nordstrom, this individual profiled in the Tribune piece. When it comes to gender, Cassidy Nordstrom, who's 22, has evolved or devolved, coming out as a bisexual in junior high, then as transgender at age 16, and now she's both, depending on which ID needs to be used for what purposes. In 2013, she started hormone therapy. Oh, he started hormone. I can't even keep track of it. Say he or she. He started hormone therapy to gain a more feminine appearance. Nordstrom began to identify as non-binary. Non-binary. Remember, on Facebook, there's something on the order of 70 plus descriptions for your gender. I thought there were 2. But, but I'm an old fuddy-duddy. I'm not a cool cat that's aged 13 to 34 in the millennial generation or Generation Z. But what about getting beyond non-binary, Amy? Yeah. What about identifying as a member of the animal kingdom?
How about we have that dragon person?
No. What about Goat Man?
Oh,
have you heard of Goat Man?
No. Do I want to meet Goat Man?
Meet Goat Man.
Maybe becoming an animal is about relinquishing control over your own fate in a way.
Deep.
Because I suppose we're all trying to control our lives and kind of fight this battle to kind of retain control over our lives.
You hear the
clanging of the goat bell around his neck?
I think it's a battle you can't win.
Yeah, without deep thoughts on Goatman. Yeah.
So he's a goat because he's not a man or a woman.
He built a wooden contraption so he can walk around like a goat. And there's video of him like in a pasture with other goats walking around on this cylindrical wooden device he created that allows him to walk around like a goat. And he's out there chewing grass like he's a billy goat. Yeah. And this is a part of to get outside of our humanity because, our humanity is so boring and we're all trying to escape being human beings. We want to get into a more elevated state of nature, like, living as a goat.
These people, that's sick.
3 IDs, male, female, goat.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine right now. Warm today, a high near 80 degrees, but we can't rule out a passing shower or thunderstorm. And then tomorrow, more of the same, but it's going to be a lot cooler around here. Breezy, a high in the upper 60s, something we haven't seen for a while. Now let's go back into the traffic center and see what Jim Talamonte's seen out on the roadways.
Well, Amy and Dan, we've got a car into a pond in Orland Park. This is at Southwest Highway and LaGrange Road. No lanes are blocked, but you can expect a gaper's delay. On the Edens inbound at Slow Church to the Junction, 27 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Kennedy, 36 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 55. And 190 has delays in both directions at the airport. The Eisenhower is now gone really heavy. It is an hour and 7 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 41 minutes. Stevenson, looking at 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. The Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State bottled up from 95th to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Adams Tollway slow Barrington to 53 and 2 to the River Road Toll. Reagan Tollway slow 31 to Farnsworth, 53 to Finley with a crash. Actually, 3 separate crashes, all on the right shoulder between 355 and Finley. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Janet Yellen speaks today. BMW focusing on self-driving cars. Atlantic City's Showboat to reopen without gambling. Those stories next.
Hey, Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. What if you could store your IRA or your 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in person in the form of physical gold and silver coins? I know I would, and you can't do that with stocks. But with the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can see them anytime. Free shipping, 0 management fees, and Augusta pays all upfront costs. Getting started is absolutely free. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau, enjoys a 98% 5-star satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. You can trust Augusta. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993 now for your free guide to Augusta Gold IRAs. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. Or visit AugustaPreciousMetals.com.
All eyes on Philadelphia. Fed Chair Janet Yellen gives a speech there and participates in a roundtable. Investors will be looking for any indication of the Fed's direction on interest rates. This week, we get data on productivity and cost, the Labor Department's job openings, and labor turnover survey, as well as the latest reading on consumer confidence. BMW tweaking its R&D activities, focusing on self-driving cars. Reuters reporting the company is updating its zero-emission vehicles after a lackluster response to its only fully battery-powered car, the i3. New life for Atlantic City's Showboat Casino Hotel. It's reopening next month. As a non-gambling hotel, it'll simply be called the Showboat. It was shuttered by Caesars Entertainment back in 2014. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
The stock market may seem like a roller coaster ride, but your finances don't have to be. You may be wondering, is there another big correction on the horizon? If so, are you prepared? Or are you at the mercy of stockbrokers if it happens? Let Online Trading Academy teach you how to navigate the stock market during these changing times. They offer professional trading and investing education for every skill level. They'll teach you a rules-based strategy, trading on knowledge, not speculation, so you can identify market changes before they happen. Reserve your seat today for a free half-day training course at their state-of-the-art education facility in Lombard. Call 877-OTA-CHIC now. Mention this ad, and Online Training Academy will send you a free home video study course valued at $247 just for calling. Call now, 877-OTA-CHIC.
Hey, Sean Hannity here to talk about the importance of our Second Amendment rights and the importance of protecting your family. Now, in order to do that, well, you need the proper equipment and training from DS Arms. Now, as an actual manufacturer of AR-15 and FN-FAL type rifles, they also stock major brands of firearms, including handguns and every accessory imaginable for self-defense, target shooting, and hunting. Now, ladies, you can get basic and advanced training in a family-friendly environment with your girlfriends, loved ones, or even mom. And you can get certified for your concealed carry license. Everything is provided, including a firearm, for only $225, which is a small price to pay for your safety and the safety of your family and your loved ones. Now, for custom rifles made in America by a real manufacturer or concealed carry firearms training classes with top firearms and trainers will make DS Arms your team. DS Arms, much more than a gun store. Now, they're simple to reach in Lake Barrington, just off of Route 14 and Pepper Road. Call now, 847-277-7260. Or check them out online at dsarms.com.
Everywhere you go, the threat looms. It follows you no matter what you do. The longer you avoid the IRS and the financial difficulties you're going through, the faster they will begin to close in on you. Take control of your situation and stop the chase. John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm will help you end the feeling of being hunted by the IRS. If you've avoided taxes or could benefit from the life-saving assistance of bankruptcy, it's time you call John DeWatt. This is an attorney who's willing to take on the federal government on your behalf. He's worked to discharge thousands of dollars in penalties, and he can help you settle your debts once and for all. Call 888-777-4193. Stop being hunted down by the IRS. Let John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm deal with the IRS personally. His proven system works. Call John today for your own relief plan, 888-777-4193, or visit him online at thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com. That's thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com.
Psoriasis and vitiligo are serious diseases. You've tried everything and have been disappointed. Now there's X-Track, a breakthrough treatment that provides long-lasting, safe relief. X-Track is FDA cleared for the treatment of psoriasis and vitiligo and is endorsed by thousands of dermatologists and hospitals because it works. Clinical studies show immediate results with up to 95% clearance. The in-office visits are fast, painless, with virtually no side effects. With thousands of providers treating patients all over the country, X-Track is covered by all major insurance companies and Medicare. We'll help you find a doctor close by, and there is no cost to you until you see results. Get your life back. Live free. Live X-Track clear.
For your no-cost treatment, call now 800-972-3143. That's 800-972-3143. 800-972-3143 or visit xtracradio.com. Qualified patients, certain restrictions apply, results may vary.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
If you think all banks are the same, it's time to think about Signature Bank Chicago. I'm Pete Olson, head of commercial banking at Signature Bank, where the people who own the bank operate the bank. Not in an abstract way, but in the same hands-on, personalized way that you run your business. We don't rely on a legion of business developers to find new relationships. We don't trust an outsourced phone bank to address your customer service needs, and we don't delegate decision-making to some anonymous credit committee that you'll never meet. We do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you don't succeed, we don't succeed. Call us today to see the Signature Bank difference.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You know, it's fun to watch the new world and the way we order things online and they get brought to our doorstep, right? More and more savvy consumers are doing this now with mattresses. There's a lot of mattresses that can be delivered to you in a box. It's a very efficient way to order a bed. But the problem is a lot of these mattresses aren't comfortable. One mattress that I've discovered is just about as perfect as it gets. It's called the Luxy mattress, Luxi, the Luxy mattress made here in America. The Luxy mattress was reviewed by one of the biggest online mattress reviewers review sites named first in their performance mattress category. How about my review? I love this bed. Go to LuxySleep.com right now. It's reasonably priced because you don't have to pay $2,000, $3,000 for a top-of-the-line bed anymore. The Queen is $999, and if you use the promo code Mike, you'll get a $125 discount. Go to LuxySleep.com. Check out this amazing mattress. Luxy Sleep, L-U-X-I, LuxySleep.com. Or if you want to call them, feel free to do so. 888-813-2944. Call now.
I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we're watching right now. A West Point cadet from Northwest Indiana killed in Texas flooding. Cubs and Sox stumble on Sunday and a sunny start to your day. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Donald Trump insists.
This is just a small civil case. This is not a big deal. I mean, believe it or not, this is not a big deal. They make it a big deal because of me.
And he claims he'll win the fraud case against Trump University easily, though he's faced a lot of criticism, even from fellow Republicans, for being critical of the judge overseeing the case as biased because of his Mexican heritage. Hillary Clinton calls that legal case against Trump serious, and she's close to securing the Democrat nomination to face him in the fall. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Clinton could win all the delegates she needs tomorrow. She's about 30 away from clinching the nomination. Clinton has been attacking Trump rather than Bernie Sanders on the campaign trail.
I believe the Republican nominee should never get near the White House.
Clinton and Sanders are locked in a tight race in California, and the Vermont senator plans to go to the Democratic convention to make the argument.
We are the strongest campaign to defeat him.
Sanders says Clinton would be wrong to claim she's won the nomination based on the delegate count alone. Dave.
Well, Rachel, Florida's west coast north of Tampa is getting ready for Colin, a tropical storm with 50-mile-an-hour wind that could hit tonight.
They're telling people the biggest threat is the low-lying areas and any of those homes or streets that are prone to flooding. They're asking those who live in those areas that maybe don't typically get flooding to still take steps to protect their homes. Sandbags are available at multiple locations throughout Pasco County.
Shayla Reeves with Fox 13 TV. Colin could soak areas from Florida's Gulf Coast up to the Carolinas with as much as 8 inches of rain. The U.S. Navy has banned alcohol for sailors stationed in Japan and restricted off-base activity after drunk driving arrest. This is a first. Miss USA is an Army Reserve lieutenant.
As a commander of my unit, I'm powerful.
Deshauna Barber was crowned last night at the Miss USA pageant on Fox. The 26-year-old wants to raise awareness for PTSD treatment for soldiers and suicide prevention in the military. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Sunny and 64 degrees this morning at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A strong spring storm didn't stick around long, but while it only dropped a little bit of rain here in the Chicago area, damaging winds struck southeast Wisconsin, leaving about 30,000 without power, dropping large hail and snapping trees with wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour. Officials say a West Point cadet from Northwest Indiana was one of 9 soldiers killed last Thursday in a Texas over-flooded creek. The 21-year-old was set to graduate from West Point in 2018. Indiana Governor Mike Pence ordering flags at state facilities be lowered to half-staff until Chesterton native Mitchell Winnie's funeral. A second Chicago man has been charged in the death of a woman who was struck by a pickup truck on Lakeshore Drive while fleeing robbers. Devontae Dodd was charged with murder, attempted murder, and mob action. Chicago police said he made an initial court appearance yesterday. Bond has also been set for 18-year-old Samaj Waters at $500 in the same case. Chicago police are investigating a possible homicide following the death of a 2-month-old boy on the city's southwest side. Bryson Holman died after being found unresponsive Saturday in a home near Kedzie Avenue and 83rd Place. Chicago sports, Arizona over the Cubs, 3-2. Jake Arrieta's winning streak ends at 20 games. Was the Tigers over the White Sox, 5-2. Copa America at Soldier Field. Venezuela over Jamaica, 1-0. NBA Finals Game 2 goes to the Golden State Warriors over the Cavaliers, 110-77. The news, a service of GNC. Fuel your summer fun at GNC. Top products to fuel every athlete are buy one, get one half off. Fuel your training, fuel your recovery, fuel your wallet. At GNC, it's buy one, get one half off. Store-wide, mix and match, now through June 27th at GNC. 7:04, A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity believes we're seeing a war on the police.
It's been led by President Obama. It's been led by Attorney General at the time, Eric Holder. You know, the tragedy of this war on cops is not just for the cops, but for innocent people now dying in the streets because of the so-called Ferguson effect, meaning officers are scared to death to do their job for fear of getting hit with excessive force or brutality charges or a video that looks bad.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
Life can be unpredictable. That's why you should take control of your family's future now with an estate plan bundle from LegalZoom. Not sure whether you need a last will or a living trust? LegalZoom's network of independent attorneys in 48 states can help you decide which one's right for you without billing by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. Plus, updating your estate plan as your family and assets grow couldn't be easier. Enjoy your life. Use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
7:05. Let's get an update on your morning ride to work in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound delays start at Oakton. It's 27 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. The Kennedy, 41 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 19 from Montrose, 18 in the Express. Outbound 52 minutes downtown to O'Hare, and it's still heavy on 190 in both directions. Inbound Eisenhower, an hour and 7 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 52 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 41 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 50 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 44 minutes to 355. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown, northbound Tri-State, bumper to bumper, 111th to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue, eastbound Adams Tollway, slow Beverly to 53. And then from 2-way to the River Road Toll, Reagan Tollway really jammed. Winfield Road to Findlay. There are 3 separate crashes on the right shoulder. Veterans Memorial slow Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to Roosevelt, Darby Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Partly sunny and breezy today, gusts up to 30 miles per hour. An afternoon shower or thunderstorm in spots with a high 79. Partly cloudy night, low 55. Breezy with sunny clouds with a shower in the afternoon in some spots. Tomorrow, high of 68. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
61 at O'Hare. It is 66 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news coming up at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
What I'm saying is, if you invoke his race as a reason why he can't do his job.
I think that's why he's doing it.
But
I think that's why he's doing it.
When Hillary Clinton says it's a racist attack.
Hillary Clinton is a stiff.
You know, look, George, I thought that the report actually made it clear that the practice I used was used by other secretaries, other high-ranking State Department officials.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. What is up, Dan and Amy? Well, Amy, it's been a long, strange primary season, and it all comes to an end tomorrow.
It does. Well, Hillary Clinton, a big victor at U.S. Virgin Islands race.
Virgin
primary.
Islands no more.
Hey-o.
Not since Bill was there.
St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix. Yeah, she won that handily and then won Puerto Rico. And again, remember, voting lines were so long, 2.5 to 3 hours to vote. And everybody in line was voting for Hillary Clinton.
She's 30 delegates short of getting the number of delegates if you include the supers to the nomination. Well, they're 29, 30. I've seen both numbers.
465 delegates are at stake in California?
Right, but New Jersey, there's other states tomorrow. It's not just California. She's way up in New Jersey. She's going to get at least half the delegates
How do you think she's going to do in Montana, New Mexico, and North Dakota and South Dakota, Dan?
Don't really care. The point is she's going to get the number of delegates required if you factor in those super delegates. And, Bernie missed his window to defeat her. There's a good piece in Washington Post about that. But we'll get to that a little bit in a little bit more detail a little bit later in the hour. First, we're remembering an individual and we're remembering a seminal event in world history today. On the latter point, remembering the men who fought and died in particular to liberate Europe from Nazism and to save Western civilization on June 6, 1944.
D-Day.
Yes. Yeah. We're remembering them. And we're not remembering them the way that DePaul University president, Father Dennis Holzschneider, remembered them recently. And I've shared this a couple times because I'm going to continue sharing it. Because
it's just so unbelievable.
It's absurd and it's a disgrace. DePaul.
What's a disgrace to the men and women who served and who died?
Well, there's
particularly the men on D-Day.
DePaul University. This is a university that bans chalk for student safety. Just so we understand what's going on at DePaul.
When did they start that?
This was 3 months ago. They will no longer allow students to chalk political messages on sidewalks on campus because of the, quote, offensive, hurtful, and divisive nature of pro-Trump chalking found on campus last week. And so just remember that. This is a campus whose students cannot handle a vote for Trump chalk message on the sidewalk. Okay? Remember that. And the university complies by banning chalk. That's their response. So listen to what General Holzschneider, the president of DePaul, and I use general in quotes for purposes of sarcasm, to be clear. When Milo Yiannopoulos, who we had on the show after he was basically interrupted and his speech was canceled at DePaul midway through for protesters.
Yeah, for safety reasons.
Protesters came up, they stormed the stage, they took the microphone, they shouted him down, they made threats of physical violence, and ultimately security didn't do anything, so Milo Yiannopoulos, the tech editor for Breitbart, who's on the 60 college speaking tour, agreed to shut it down, walked away. Well, Father Holzschneider was in France at the time. He was on a mission with a couple of trustees to learn about the life and times of St. Vincent de Paul, who's spinning in his grave knowing what DePaul has become. St. Vincent de Paul, he was enslaved for his faith. Compare and contrast the people like Holzschneider or Jenkins at Notre Dame to the great tradition of Catholicism. He sent back and posted a statement on the protest of Yiannopoulos' speech and students not allowing him to speak and essentially shutting down the event. And most of his remarks are about how he disagrees with Yiannopoulos on all kinds of things, the gender gap in wages and white privilege and all these other social justice, secular humanist, left-wing nonsensical positions that the Catholic priest has, not that Milo Yiannopoulos has. And he also lectured Milo, who's gay, on what it means to be gay. It's just a fascinating letter. But in addition to that, he wrote, because part of their trip overseas, Father Holzschneider and his contingent, they went to Normandy. He wrote, quoting him, "Here in Normandy, I expected to be moved by the generosity of those who gave their lives on the beaches early on June 6, 1944. I did not expect, however, to be shocked when I realized that most of the soldiers were the same ages as our students today. The rows and rows of white crosses in the American cemeteries speak to the selflessness of the human spirit at early adulthood to lay down their lives for a better world." Okay, no problem with that statement. And then this. "I realize that many of yesterday's protesters hold similar noble goals for a more inclusive world for those traditionally held aside by our society."
Oh, boy.
So, like the men who died on Omaha Beach, My bedwetting, cry-bully, chalk-fearing students at DePaul are working for a better world.
How can you even compare the two? That's what's so sickening about it. That's why he shouldn't be president of DePaul, and people should contact his office. They should contact any higher-ups in the archdiocese to demand that he be fired.
Yeah, good luck with that. But you're right. They should contact the president's office at DePaul. They should stop giving contributions to DePaul. The same thing goes for Notre Dame. They should stop sending their kids to DePaul. They should have some kind of accountability mechanism for cranks like Father Holzschneider, a disgrace not only to higher ed, not only to DePaul University specifically, but also to Catholicism generally. And, by the way,
to the survivors of D-Day.
Well,
because there are still a few out there.
To all military men and women. All. Disgrace. So let me just understand something, Father Holzschneider. When you see a bunch of cry-bullies jump on stage and shout down a speaker, end an event on college campus, the marketplace for ideas, a place of intellectual freedom, so it's advertised. Obviously not in fact. When you see them do that, what you see is the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan. They're indistinguishable. Is that right? I mean, honestly, Chicago, DePaul is the largest Catholic university in Chicago. As a Catholic, it's disgraceful.
As an American, it's disgraceful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's DePaul, Father Dennis Holzschneider. Do something about it. DePaul residents, don't just let me, wail on about it on the radio. Goodness sakes.
Especially on this D-Day. You'd think that some students would protest in front of his office. Maybe they could, form a solidarity against him. Do something.
How about educating them about what
really
those
D-Day is?
Men died for, what they fought against so that we could have, and what American men and women have fought against so that we could have from the inception of this country. Freedom. Religious freedom, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech.
Freedom of expression.
All of our God-given freedoms enshrined in the Constitution and the founding documents.
You mentioned earlier a great story about Duchossois when he was he in the Battle of the Bulge?
Dick Duchossois, of course, of horse racing fame, Arlington Park, and ultimately sold to Churchill Downs, but obviously a wildly successful businessman. And the Battle of the Bulge, decorated World War II veteran, was zipped up in a body bag. Thought he was dead. Gosh. And he had to say, essentially, it's almost like a Monty Python skit, although I'm not making fun of it.
No,
but it's just, it's so unbelievable. He had, essentially, I'm not dead. And they unzipped him. But think about how much the world changed, how close it was, and what a difference Dick Duchossois has made with his success and jobs he's created and all kinds of other benefits. Think about that. And that's how close it was. And there's a story about that, for a story like that for every life that was lost. And frankly, every person who served whose life wasn't lost, how much they have changed the trajectory of this country's history.
And the World War II vets, what I've noticed from spending time with them and hearing them, they're so humble, and they don't talk about the horrific circumstances that they had to go through in order to survive. I interviewed Milton Schwartz, who was a World War II vet from Schwartz Apparel. I know all the ladies know about Schwartz Apparel. And he recently passed away. But as a Jewish American, he had to make sure that Hitler was stopped so that we wouldn't be speaking German. He said, I didn't want my children and grandchildren speaking German, because that was the ultimate goal, to take over the world. And I remember him today because he recently passed away, and he was a great American hero.
Larry and Bartlett, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Just want to let you know I took your advice, and I sent him a letter last week letting him know that as a graduate of Gordon Tech High School in 1966, and DePaul now runs Gordon Tech, I totally disagree with him. Well, my wife and I are in estate planning mode right now, and I was about to identify DePaul as a recipient of an annual gift for the next 20 years. My letter to help told him he's not getting that money now. So I would suggest you tell your listeners, hit him where it hurts, hit him in the wallet.
Good for you, Larry. Thanks for the call.
Wow.
It's the only way.
Yeah.
It's the only way. I mean, it's better to set up scholarship funds that you control through a foundation so that they can be directed accordingly, whether it's for kids at high school or kids going to college. It's just these universities, I mean, they need to be exposed for what they are. It's better to light money on fire. You're essentially the alumni who are funding my alma mater, Northwestern or DePaul or Notre Dame or so many other schools. You're essentially funding people who despise everything you did for your life. If you're a freedom-loving entrepreneurial capitalist who believes in peaceful pluralism, you're funding the opposite. John in Westchester. Hey, John.
Hello?
Hey, John, you're on.
Hi. I can't believe it. This priest, doesn't he realize that those protesters that he's trying to say are so great are more like the German brown shirts that Hitler had going out beating up people that would speak against him and his Nazi party?
Yeah.
How dare compare them to the soldiers that fought against them?
Thanks for the call, John.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine right now, but we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm in spots this afternoon. A high near 80 degrees. Enjoy it because tomorrow it's going to be a big difference around here. Breezy, cooler, a high only in the upper 60s. And a possibility of a shower in the afternoon. Let's get the travel times. Any sticky spots on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
That's getting heavy all around, Amy. The Kennedy now 43 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 52 minutes. The Edens 30 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 24. Inbound Eisenhower. An hour and 15 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. An hour from Mannheim. Outbound 49 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 48 minutes. Ryan is 30 minutes 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound slow 120 to 137. Northbound jammed 111th to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Eastbound Adams Tollway delays are from Beverly Road most of the way to 53 and Elmhurst Road to the River Road Toll. Reagan Tollway slow 31 to Eola. Winfield to Findlay with crashes on the right shoulder. Stop and go Myers to the Tri-State. Baton Rouge Royal now very heavy northbound as well. Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Everyone is making predictions about who Donald Trump will pick as his VP running mate. And here at AM 560, we're raising the stakes a little bit. Check this out. If you correctly guess Donald Trump's running mate, you could win $560. Shit, we did 560. That's right. Enter our $560 Veepsakes contest between now and June 24th. And if your prediction is correct, you could win $560 and a $50 gift card from the Trump Winery. Amy, you're not eligible. Two easy ways to enter. You can fire up the AM560 mobile app on your smartphone and enter the contest that way, or you can go to 560theanswer.com/Trump to enter online. It's that easy. Complete rules are online at 560theanswer.com/Trump. Enter today, or you're a loser. It's going to be huge.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. After 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this, and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life. They have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hi, this is Shalom Klein of Get Down to Business, the show for small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship, powered by Tandem HR.
So mom and dad, after saving for years to send your children to college, you discover A, you didn't save enough, and B, where you've been saving is completely exposed to the college aid formulas, so you get to pay more than you should, and C, your student did not make the best career decision before choosing their college or major. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Don't wait until your student is in high school to figure this out. The earlier you get on the right track, the better your results. That's why Everett Wealth Solutions recommends getting advice from a fiduciary advisor with college funding knowledge. A fiduciary represents you, not a financial institution. They will get to know you and the complete financial picture of your life.
For more tips, advice, and stories of entrepreneurial successes, listen to Get Down to Business with me, Shalom Klein, heard Sunday evenings at 6. Your Business Minute of the Day is brought to you by Everett Wealth Solutions.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. All right, Amy. We got to do a little bit of local here because it's June of 2016.
Right.
There's a governor's election in November of 2018.
Ooh, so we got to get on this.
Well, the point is that we are now in the stage of the process where we get the mid-cycle political autoeroticism of Chris Kennedy.
He's back?
Chris Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy's son.
Right.
Nephew
of JFK.
He is yet again considering running for Illinois governor in 2018. And, of course, NBC is more than happy to report on this navel-gazing by Chris Kennedy, who has made noise about running for Senate, running for governor for the last several cycles. Every time we're in cycle, it's like after Governor Edgar retired, and for a decade, what about getting Governor Edgar to come in and run for this seat and every seat that's open? And so now we have to do this with Chris Kennedy. I heard, and Eric Edelstein. Eric Edelstein, a Democrat strategist, telling NBC, "I've heard Chris is more serious this time," and hitting Ronner, of course, which the Democrats are doing. I mean, it's
Does
just
he still
so
run
tired.
The Merchandise Mart? Because Chris Kennedy ran the Merchandise Mart for
yes.
a while.
Yes.
So he's still has he ever held any office?
He's
public office?
Chairman of the University of Illinois Board of Trustees, and that's going well. He and his wife run Top Box Foods, a nonprofit providing fresh food options in the inner city. Of course, all of the laudatory component parts of the Chris Kennedy memo. Chris Kennedy,
they're feeding people.
Chris Kennedy bio they don't talk about some of his more curious business ventures in terms of there's some questions about him being a bit of a slumlord and other matters that would have to be poured over if this ever got beyond the stage of his ruminating and he became a candidate. So what about that? How about a legacy? Legacy candidate. You know what we need? Another legacy candidate in Illinois because of the Madigans and the Hineses and the Strogers and the Dailies and on and on. That's not enough. How about that? Wouldn't that be fun?
I heard something at the gym the other day.
What'd you hear?
That Pat Quinn is going to be running again.
Oh, yeah.
He wants back in the governor's mansion.
Yeah.
Not that he ever moved there in the first place, but governor's office.
Yeah, he's got nothing else to do.
So there's going to be infighting to decide who the candidate's going to be.
I don't think so.
Chris Kennedy or Pat Quinn?
It may be, that may happen, or it may...
Or Lisa Madigan, I heard. Too.
No. It may be something else. The rumor I heard...
Oh, yeah. Who?
Is that after November, United States Senator Dick Durbin is going to announce for governor.
No.
And that would clear the field, obviously. These clowns, Quinn and Kennedy, would have no chance. And it makes some sense from a Democrat perspective. Sack of Durbin, he's not up for re-election until 20, so he wouldn't have to give up a seat. He could run for governor. And then because he's in the twilight of his career, I mean, he's 70 years old, if he won, he could do all the bad stuff that Madigan and Cullerton want to do, the tax increases and the profligate spending that they want to do. He could rubber stamp it the way that instead of Ronner standing in front of it, stopping it. We could get all of that done, not to mention everything Tiny Dancer wants. and further turn this state and city into a Central American banana republic. And
is Ronica
and then he
running?
could fade off. He could walk off into the sunset. And not to mention, if Duckworth doesn't win against Kirk, then you've got a Senate seat that she could occupy. If she does, then you could perhaps move along Daddy's little girl or somebody else that wanted to parachute out of Illinois politics and put him in the Senate seat that Durban currently occupies.
Well, Dick Durbin was asked this a few weeks ago. Are you going to run for governor? And he acted a little testy.
I have no aspirations for any other office, and I would beg the people who are doing all this speculation to cool it.
Yeah.
Cool it. Just cool it.
I'm not going to cool it. And by the way, it's nice that Sack of Durban said that, but one of the things we know about Sack of Durban is that he's an inveterate liar.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
World, say hello to some old friends. It's been a long time, but they remember you. They're my toes, and they've been hidden ever since I got nail fungus. Yeah, nail fungus. I know, embarrassing, right? Really ugly stuff that I just couldn't get rid of. Tried several doctors, took pills, creams, even considered surgery. Of course, with that, you lose your nail, and there's no guarantee that the fungus won't come back. So I tried Clear Touch. Clear Touch is a little handheld device you use at home. It's painless because it uses light. Yes, light to travel fast and deep. Can't believe I went so long hiding my toes when this simple, inexpensive solution was waiting right there at Clear Touch. Clear Touch is even cleared by the FDA because it's safe and works. Yeah, my toes saw the light. So, world, I'd appreciate it if you could pass the word about Clear Touch, the phototherapy solution that works.
Call 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573 or cleartouchnails.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Donald Trump said if Hillary's elected, your Second Amendment rights are in jeopardy, and Hillary confirmed that over the weekend. We'll have that at 7:37.
And Hillary responds to email questions from her very good friend, George Stephanopoulos. So cool it down. Cool your heels. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Partly sunny and 66 degrees. Louisville's week-long tribute to their hometown hero who became an international icon began with an interfaith service honoring Muhammad Ali. Scores of people of all races and faiths filled a local religious center last night to honor the greatest. Muhammad Ali's daughter, Layla, sharing her grief with that community in the world.
I personally have been sad for a long time. My father's been struggling with Parkinson's disease for many years, and it's not easy. It wasn't easy to watch him suffer. So knowing that he's not suffering anymore is what gives me comfort.
Layla Ali on NBC's Today Show. The Sunshine State not seeing much of the sun today as Tropical Storm Colin rolls in with 50-mile-an-hour winds and heavy rain. A planned meeting for Florida Governor Rick Scott and the likely Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump off for now as Scott stays put in the Sunshine State watching Colin. Bernie Sanders says Hillary Clinton will have to work awfully hard to win over his supporters. He made that statement on CNN's State of the Union.
It is Secretary Clinton's job to explain to those people why she should get their support. And that means she's going to have to address their needs.
Clinton is trying to unify the Democratic Party, and she plans to campaign in California and New Jersey ahead of primaries there. 5, including a Chicago police officer, are hurt following a fire on the city's north side. Blaze began early this morning inside an apartment complex near California and Peterson. Authorities are questioning a person of interest following a deadly hit-and-run on Chicago's northwest side. A white Jaguar ran a red light yesterday, slamming into a Chevy Malibu near Belmont and Kedzie. The woman riding in the Malibu died at an area hospital while the man driving that vehicle was seriously hurt. Chicago sports, Arizona beat the Cubs and Jake Arrieta 3-2. Detroit over the White Sox 5-2. NBA Finals Game 2, another blowout and another win for Golden State 110-77. The news service of GNC. Fuel your summer fun at GNC. Top products to fuel every athlete are buy one, get one half off. Fuel your training. Fuel your recovery. Fuel your wallet. At GNC, it's buy one, get one half off store-wide mix and match now through June 27th at GNC. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
A court ruled that a Catholic school could not hire a gay person.
The Joe Walsh Show.
If you've gotten to a place in this country where the government can tell a church who to hire and who not to hire, you're in a bad place. We're totally upside down.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you not understand that?
Life can be stressful, and sometimes you just need to get away for a day to relax and recharge. And Chicago is full of fun and interesting things to do. The Hyatt Centric is the perfect getaway to enable you to see everything Chicago has to offer. So visit the AM 560 The Answer mobile app and register a chance to win a free overnight stay at this Hyatt Centric, The Loop, Chicago. Act Now contest ends Sunday, June 12th.
GoDaddy gives you the tools, service, and know-how to make you go. No wonder millions of businesses and people go with GoDaddy. Go you. GoDaddy.
Hi, I'm Tony Migach. I've been in the wholesale food business for 30 years, selling steaks and seafood nationwide. About 12 years ago, I had an idea, something I didn't see anywhere, so I made it. The Cheese Witch, it's a sandwich without the bread. 2 slices of Wisconsin cheese with a slice of hard salami in the middle. We have 4 delicious flavors: Colby Jack, Pepper Jack, Cheddar, Provolone. It tastes great. The Cheese Witch is a great grab-and-go snacker meal. Each Cheese Witch has 14 to 16 grams of protein. No carbs, gluten-free, and it's ready to eat. It's sealed so you can take it anywhere. We package it in Lyons, Illinois, and ship it out nationwide. Open them up and bam, you've got a great healthy snacker meal. Look for it, ask for it. Where's my Cheese Witch?
Get your Cheese Witch, a healthy grab-and-go, at many locations, including holiday stores and at all Walmart stores throughout the Midwest.
2 slices of Wisconsin cheese with a slice of hard salami. The healthy snack that tastes great.
If you could quickly and painlessly clear your psoriasis or vitiligo, would you?
No matter how big the psoriasis is, no matter how small the psoriasis, we can help you.
Ashley is a clinical specialist for Extract, the amazing in-office treatment for psoriasis and vitiligo that's clinically proven to show immediate results with up to 95% clearance.
What my patients love most about the Extract treatments is it's safe, it's FDA cleared, and they're seeing results very quickly.
End the embarrassing, painful patches and discoloration with Extract. There's no medications, no topical ointments, and virtually no side effects. Extract uses light to transform your skin and change your life. It's covered by all major insurances and Medicare, and will help you find a doctor close by.
I love what I do. I love coming in every day and making a difference in patients' lives. It's amazing.
Call now to live Extract Clear. Call 800-978-3554. That's 800-978-3554. 800-978-3554, or visit xtracradio.com. Qualified patients, certain restrictions apply.
7:37. In our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens is 31 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 30. The Kennedy now 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 52. The Eisenhower an hour and 15 minutes. Thorndale to the post office outbound 49 minutes. Stevenson an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 48 minutes. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Tri-State southbound still Washington to 137. Northbound 115th to 47th. The Reagan tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Other tollways are heavy too. Traffic service of Napa Auto Parts. Get Pennzoil conventional oil for just $3.39 a quart this month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. That's Napa know-how. While supplies last, General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Breezy day ahead. Sunshine in the morning. Shower or storm possible this afternoon. High 79. Partly cloudy and 55 overnight. Currently 61 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pure Shale Financial Group.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Looking forward to this new book coming out. This was previewed over the weekend, Crisis of Character. It's a book by a gentleman named Gary Byrne, who's a former presidential Secret Service officer. Comes out the end of the month. A White House Secret Service officer discloses his firsthand experience with Hillary, Bill, and how they operate. The book is supposedly a tell-all. That's how it's being touted. And Byrne explains, a little tease, what I saw in the 1990s sickened me. I want you to hear my story. So we're going to get that book. We're going to effort to get Gary Byrne on the show to hear his story. But that's could be another bombshell to hit the Clintons before the month is out.
Yeah, and she's had Secret Service protection for 27 years now.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. How could she relate to anything that we go through? When was the last time she filled up her gas tank? So she knows how high oil prices were, a few years back.
The last car she drove was an Edsel. And she was on this weekend with Clinton Foundation Donor Zero.
Her BFF or former BFF.
The host of This Week. And I was asked a couple questions. First about the servers.
Oh, how's that server doing? And that Inspector General's report. I can't wait to hear how she spun this one.
Yeah, you can anticipate this fork-tongued dancer.
On the email issue, as you know, the State Department Inspector General report was quite tough on your practices, and it concluded, I want to show it right here, that Secretary Clinton had an obligation to discuss using her personal email account to conduct official business with their offices, and according to these officials, diplomatic security and the information resource management offices did not and would not approve your exclusive reliance on a personal email account to conduct department business because of the restrictions in the Foreign Affairs Manual and the security risks in doing so. Do you now accept their conclusion that your exclusive use of a personal account was not allowed, that you broke State Department rules?
Look, George, I thought that the report actually made it clear that the practice I used was used by other secretaries, other high-ranking State Department officials.
No one else had
it was a mistake.
use
If
of
I
a
had to do
personal
it,
account.
if I had to do it over again, I certainly wouldn't. But I think that the rules were not clarified until after I had left. Because it had been the practice of others. There was certainly reason to believe, which I did, that what I practiced was in keeping with others' practices.
Not true. None of that is true. Of course, no former Secretary of State used a private homebrew server except Hillary Clinton. That's where it starts.
Well, she insisted, though, that the report vindicated her.
Well,
that
of course
the
she
rules
did.
weren't clarified until after she left.
This is comedy, right? A report that completely indicts her, not in the legal sense, but in the kind of following the rules sense, in the ethical sense. She spins and says, yep, I'm exonerated.
Well, and also,
whatever.
too, I know, it's crazy, but also George Stephanopoulos asked her, too, if she's been interviewed yet by the FBI, and she said, no, they have not asked me for an interview yet or have contacted me.
And that's good news, because if you're not being whistled in to the FBI, that means you're a target, especially when you have 150 agents investigating you. So we'll see how that turns out. Something else that she said, which is important and hasn't received as much play as it deserves, of course, Washington Press Corps being what it is. She was asked about the Second Amendment. That's your old individual right to keep and bear arms. That was very clearly decided in the Heller case, very clearly articulated. And the argument that Trump has made, and others, Hillary Clinton gets elected, and you lose your Second Amendment rights. Well, Stephanopoulos, to his credit, asked her about that. What is your view on the Second Amendment as an individual right? Listen to her answer.
Do you believe that their conclusion that an individual's right to bear arms is a constitutional right?
If it is a constitutional right, then it, like every other constitutional right, is subject to reasonable regulations.
If
it's a constitutional right. And when she says...
She not have her copy of the Constitution in her back pocket?
Well, she disagrees with the Heller decision is what she's saying. Yeah. And when she says if it's a constitutional right, an individual constitutional right, she's saying it is not an individual constitutional right. So, I mean, to the argument that Trump and others make, and Trump supporters, even reluctant Trump supporters, you have someone, here's a case study, who does not believe the Second Amendment provides an individual right to keep and bear arms, does not provide an individual right to self-protection, who would have the power to nominate at least one, and maybe as many as 3 or 4 Supreme Court justices And all you would need is a case on gun rights to wind its way up to a Supreme Court that was stacked with leftists and gun banners to undo what Scalia and the court did in the Heller decision. You heard it. That's right from the cackler's mouth. Verlin on the South Side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
How you doing, Dan and Amy?
Hey, Verlin.
All right. Now listen. This country has become so PC that Donald Trump can say a few things off the cuff, and they'll try to make him, they'll get their pennies in a bunch, and they'll just try to make him to be the biggest racist ever when they play the race card every day, all day, and when you call them on it, they turn it around on you and make you the bad guy. Okay, well, when they do that, I always have to give a history lesson. So I'm going to start right here. HBO pissed me off last month and tried to make Lyndon Johnson all buttery and finger-licking good, you know. They tried to make him into this social justice type guy, you know what I'm saying? Now, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Lyndon Johnson the guy that voted against my civil rights in 1957 and then turned around, the FBI released the files, and he said, I had these N-words voting for us for the next 100 years, and it's been about 50 so far. Now let's fast forward to it for a minute. We all know Hillary was a Goldwater girl. That's another guy that voted against my civil rights. Bill Clinton, he was taught by a leading segregationist. He picked a running mate. That father was a segregationist, Mr. Al Gore Sr., and people, they conveniently leave that out of history. We had a president and a vice president that both was taught by segregationists. The apple couldn't fall too far from the tree. Obama sat in the church for 20 years of a guy that hated the country. The Democrats are full of crap. And I'm telling you, every time somebody try to take up for them, I'm going to call in, and I'm going to tell the truth, and I'm going to give everybody a reality check. Trump or nothing.
Thanks for the call, Verlin. And by the way, speaking of Reverend Jeremiah G.D. America Wright, you ever seen his house? He's got a big house on the Odyssey Golf Course down in Tinley Park. Four-car garage.
You tweeted a picture out of it.
Yeah.
Didn't show the address, which was respectful of you, but it's a palatial estate. Not bad.
Tell you what.
Somebody who says GD America.
Well, America been pretty good.
Yeah,
good old Reverend Wright.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Coming up, what to do when a Pitbull attacks a neighbor. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine right now, but we have a 30% chance of rain by this afternoon or a thunderstorm, high of 79 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, and tomorrow it's going to be breezy, a lot cooler around here than we're used to. Highs only in the upper 60s with a chance of an afternoon shower. Anything dicey on the roadways? Here's Jim Talamonte.
Amy, on the outbound Kennedy near Belmont, there's a stalled semi in the left lane. We're looking at about 52 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. Eden's 31 minutes, like Hook to the junction. Outbound 30. The Eisenhower's an hour and 15 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, an hour from Manheim. Outbound 49 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 48 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes from 95th to the Loop. Tri-State southbound, stop and go Washington to 137. Northbound from 115th to 47th. Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Reagan Tollway really slow going from the Aurora Toll Plaza to 355 after earlier crashes on the right side. Then it's slow Myers to the Tri-State. Veterans Oil, slow Boughton most of the way up to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Many of you own or manage growing companies, and you know that your entire business depends on your phones. If your phone service provider struggles to deliver your calls, it can mean lost revenue. We certainly know that here. That's often the case with an outdated phone system. The solution, well, it's a company that we use here at AM 560, Innovative Networks. They excel at providing innovative solutions to reinforce your company's phone infrastructure and enhance call flow. We truly appreciate how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing solutions that scale as our business expands. Innovative Networks can even replace your outdated phone system at no cost and provide hands-on training to maximize your capabilities. You'll save money and be more focused on growing your business. Here at AM 560, we're thrilled with Innovative Networks, so follow our lead and call Innovative Networks at 312-453-7777. They're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. Call 312 453-7777, or visit the website go4inet.com. That's go4inet.com.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. I mean, really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. But I mean, after 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this, and, you know, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. You know, your products have made my life. They have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Okay, we're here at CreditRepair.com, the most recognized name in the industry for resolving credit report issues and getting those scores up. With me, I got Aaron. Aaron, there's a lot going on here today.
That's right, Justin. Last year alone, we had over 500,000 calls from people needing help with improving their credit reports.
And no wonder. What you're doing works, right?
It sure does. Our proven process actually can help remove those unfair or inaccurate items from your credit report. And on average, people who have used our service have seen significant improvement in their credit scores month after month.
So when it comes to getting things in life that you really want, like a home, car, or even a new job, the first thing lenders usually look at is credit. So don't let a low credit score hold you back. Call CreditRepair.com today. And so what happens when they call?
Well, when you call, we're actually going to give you a free credit report, a free credit score, and a free evaluation to tell you what's going on right over the phone.
Call CreditRepair.com at 800-231-1735. That's 800-231-1735. 800-231-1735.
AM 560, The Answer.
Fine. I've been waiting all day to tell this story. I need help.
We got to get to that terrible Pitbull the singer, right?
No.
Let's go to Jeff in Arlington Heights on Hillary. Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Dan. You know, if I was a politician and I was for gun control, and a close personal friend of mine killed himself with a gun, you think I would, you know, use that personal story and you know, bring it forward all the time, but maybe if I wanted to bury it, then I wouldn't bring that up so much.
Okay, Vince Foster. Thanks for the call, Jeff.
And we need your calls because we need help because you're not offering me any advice. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. Around 9:15 last night, Dan, I'm in my pink silk pajamas in bed, and I hear the most horrific dog noises I have ever heard, and men screaming, and it was scary. So I ran outside, and there's this huge 60-pound pit bull that I'd never seen before.
Singing, I Know You Want Me. No, is that?
No.
That was what happening outside? Some party?
Right. It was a pit bull party. No, this pit bull had our neighbor's dog, Ernie's head in its mouth. And it sounded like that, but on steroids. It was bad, and men were screaming, and all these neighbors ran out of their houses because it was the most horrific sound. But nobody was doing anything until the Jacobson and Glada Dell family arrived, and my significant other, Chris, runs out of the house. He's like, "Get me a bat! I need a baseball bat!" So we run in, come out with a bat. I'm wearing my pajamas. Half the neighborhood's, looking at us like we're crazy.
Why were you wearing your pajamas at 3 p.m?
No, it was 9 o'clock at night, and we were going to kill this pit bull with a baseball bat because Ernie, the dog's, whose head was inside the pit bull, my neighbor's hand was also in there trying to ungrip the jaws of this pit bull off of his dog, and his hand looked like meatloaf, and there was blood everywhere. There was blood on his forehead. The neighbors who weren't getting involved called 911, which is fine. They didn't want to get possibly killed because pit bulls kill.
Well, wait a second. Yeah. Wait a second. I mean, aren't you the same person who didn't want the Cincinnati Zoo to shoot the gorilla?
Yes.
Well, so the pit bull was being playful.
Oh my God! You're making me realize something.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I'm having an epiphany. Oh, the lights going on in the
lights are on in the studio.
So here's the thing.
Ooh.
If I had my gun, I would have shot that thing in the face and killed it like that. And the cops showed up, and I said to them, shoot that dog and kill that dog right now. And there are other people around and kids. I said, We need that dog needs to be put down right now. And I talked to the owner briefly, and he said that it was a rescue pit bull that he had taken from a shelter because they have these pit bull rescue shelters everywhere. I think those places should be closed down, and here's why. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, 362 Americans have been killed in the past 10 years from dogs, but 82% of them are pit bulls.
Yeah.
They can't be controlled. They can't be redeemed. There's no redemption qualities for a pit bull.
You can't stop them. You can only hope to contain them like Steph Curry.
No, seriously. This is serious. My neighbor could have died.
Yeah.
And he was so, like, the adrenaline was pumping that he didn't realize. I said, you've got a gash on your head and your hands all.
So what happened to the pit bull?
Okay, so the pit bull was, after the bat beating, then the pit bull is next to his owner. The owner's panting in shock at what happened. The dog's panting.
Mike's
hurt.
The owner got the dog off
Eventually, but still, I mean, the cops came and they didn't shoot the pit bull, and they just left. And my neighbor Mike, who was, the adrenaline was rushing at the time. I don't think he had the wherewithal to know that he needed to get that man's information. That pit bull is still going to be walking around Blaine Elementary, Dairy Queen, where kids go. Just a bunch of places where there's a lot of kids. There's 3 parks, and that pit bull should have been shot.
The American Veterinary Association disagrees with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quoting, "Don't rely on breed stereotypes to keep yourself safe from dog bites. A dog's individual history and behavior are much more important than its breed.
Mm-hmm,
and since you don't always know a dog's history or behavior, it's not a good idea to make assumptions." This is arguing against breed-specific dog bans like some people have proposed, pit bull bans. And so you would have executed the pit bull,
oh, yeah. Now
but not the gorilla.
regretting the fact that I didn't kill it.
Huh.
But I'd let Arambe live.
Maybe you could hunt it down, Dog the Bounty Hunter.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer. And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Many problems in healthcare today are blamed on the free market. High drug prices, we're told they're due to drug companies free to set their own prices. Insurance premiums on the rise, most place the guilt on insurance companies who have the freedom to price their own products. But the reality is, America doesn't have a free market. Today we live in what philosopher Ayn Rand called a mixed economy, a mixture of freedom and lots of government controls. And healthcare is one of the most controlled industries in America. It's because of this mixed economy that many of today's healthcare problems exist. If you investigate, what you'll find is that it's not freedom, but government regulations that are to blame. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Mark your calendar, Chicago, for Tuesday, June 7th at the Langham Hotel for the 5th Annual Atlas Shrugged Revolution Dinner. This event has everything: a worthy cause, engaging speakers including AM 560's Joe Walsh, a beautiful venue, and fantastic food. Plus, it's your chance to target your support of the Ayn Rand Institute for students in the Chicagoland area. Complete details are online at aynrand.org/Chicago. That's aynrand.org/Chicago.
You should consider playing Pitbull at the next dog mauling in your neighborhood.
I'm definitely playing it at the block party now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Probably have like traumatic flashbacks for your buddies and his dog Ernie. If you're going to take a vacation this year, don't go to Amy's neighborhood. Why not make it a vacation you'll remember for a lifetime? Imagine taking a trip that's more than just a vacation. Imagine taking a trip that brings history to life. History that includes the Greek Parthenon, the Acropolis, Malta, Rome, Naples, Jerusalem, and many other places. This is exactly what you'll experience on the Footsteps of the Apostles Mediterranean Cruise. It's happening this fall aboard Celebrity Cruise Line's Silhouette Cruise Liner. Experience the sights and sounds of the places where faith, culture, and history intersect. This 15-day trip includes stops in Italy, Greece, Israel, Malta, and Turkey. You'll travel in luxury on a premier cruise ship with deluxe accommodations and all meals included. So don't take another vacation. Take a trip that you'll remember for a lifetime. For more information and to book your trip, visit footstepsoftheapostlestour.com. That's footstepsoftheapostlestour.com.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to refinance your existing home to eliminate PMI, give me a call. Joey heard me encouraging borrowers with FHA loans to call me to eliminate PMI and reduce their interest rate, and Joey is ecstatic he did. I helped Joey refinance out of his FHA loan, eliminated his PMI, lowered his rate, paid all his closing costs, and saved him over $250 a month. One phone call to me increased Joey's family's cash flow 3 G's a year. If you have an FHA loan and would like to see if you can eliminate PMI, lower your rate and monthly payments like Joey did, pick up the phone and give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License D4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 8:08, how should we cover celebrities? Warts and all? We'll take your calls.
And then later on, Yaron Brook will be here. Now we go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. 11 hurt in a casino bus crash. A police officer hurt in a Barrington Hills crash. And the Cubs and Sox stumble on Sunday. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. She's channeling Abraham Lincoln.
A house divided against itself cannot stand.
Hillary Clinton hoping for Democratic unity. She's just 30 delegates shy of clinching the nomination going into tomorrow's final primaries, but Bernie Sanders says not so fast.
The energy and the grassroots activism in this campaign is with us, not Hillary Clinton.
And Sanders says almost every poll shows he's the better matchup against Donald Trump.
We beat him, and we beat him badly.
Now, the presumptive Republican nominee keeps shrugging off the fraud case against Trump University.
I'll win the case. I'll win the case very easily.
He's faced criticism, claiming the judge overseeing it is biased because of his Mexican heritage. There's a tropical storm in the Gulf, headed right for Florida's west coast. Fox's Evan Brown is tracking Colin live from Miami.
Dave, they're handing out sandbags in Pasco County, Florida, north of Tampa.
My plan is to listen to what that man said and how to put them up against the door and learn how to swim real fast.
As Tropical Storm Colin is moving faster towards the state's Gulf Coast, it won't just be flooding, says Pasco's emergency manager Kevin Guthrie. It'll be plenty windy.
So we know we're going to be dealing with some trees, possibly some sporadic tornadoes. And then the third phase of this later in the week is going to be a riverine flooding event.
Colin's winds are now at 50 miles an hour, Dave.
Urban officials in Ukraine say they've foiled a French man's plot to try to attack the European Championship soccer tournament in France that starts Friday. They say he had guns and other weapons. They're getting ready to say goodbye to the greatest. The public memorial for Muhammad Ali will be Friday in Louisville. A former president will be among those who will eulogize the legendary boxing champ.
Billy Crystal, Bryant Gumbel, and the Honorable William J. Clinton.
Family spokesman Bob Gunnell. There will be a funeral prayer service Thursday as well. Ali died Friday after a long battle with Parkinson's disease. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
In Chicago, we have mostly sunny skies this morning, 66 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police are searching for a teenage boy accused of sexually assaulting a girl at a school on the city's southwest side. Authorities say the victim told officers she was attacked last Friday in a classroom at Curie High School. The girl is hospitalized in good condition. 5, including a Chicago police officer, are hurt by a fire on the city's north side. The blaze began early this morning inside an apartment complex near California and Peterson. Authorities are questioning a person of interest following a deadly hit and run on Chicago's northwest side. A white Jaguar ran a red light yesterday morning and slammed into a Chevy Malibu near Belmont and Kedzie. The woman riding in that Malibu died at a nearby hospital, while the man driving that vehicle was seriously hurt. Officials say a West Point cadet from northwest Indiana was one of 9 soldiers killed last Thursday in a Texas flooded-out creek. That Chesterton native and 11 other soldiers were on a training mission at Fort Hood when their vehicle got stuck and overturned. Indiana Governor Mike Pence has ordered all flags at state facilities be lowered to half staff until the Chesterton native's funeral. A second Chicago man has been charged in the death of a woman struck by a pickup truck on Lakeshore Drive. Devontae Dodd charged with murder, attempted robbery, and mob action at an initial court appearance on Sunday. Arizona beat the Cubs 3-2. Detroit over the White Sox 5-2. The news, a service of Lead Safe America. Do you live in an historic home? Are you renovating? Your children could be at risk of lead poisoning. It takes more than just a microscopic amount of lead dust to poison a child. Learn more at leadsafeamerica.org. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of turnkey.pro. From the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen speaks today in Philadelphia. She's expected to offer an assessment of what's happening with the economy. The Fed meets next week, but after a dismal May employment report, there's speculation the Fed will hold off on raising interest rates. BP will pay investors who said they were misled by the company about the Deepwater Horizon rig explosion in the Gulf of Mexico in 2010. BP has settled a class action lawsuit for $175 million. Luxury raincoat company Burberry is cutting its chief executive's pay by 75%. Burberry's year was disappointing. Christopher Bailey will receive $2.74 million and no bonus. Toyota is suspending production at 3 plants after an explosion at a supplier plant in Japan. The Dow closed down 31 points on Friday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge.
Dave Ramsey.
The reason you're in debt is behavior, not math. The way you get out of debt is behavior, change, not math. You can't borrow your way out of debt. How many times have you heard someone say, I had a whole bunch of credit card debt and I paid it off by getting a second mortgage? You didn't pay it off. You moved it.
The Dave Ramsey Show. Weeknights starting at 7, right before Michael Medved at 10. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Not available in all states. Whoa, what do you have there?
It's a Reese and Irvy's frozen yogurt. We just had our robot make one.
A robot made your frozen yogurt?
Yes, the world's first fully interactive robot vending machine that serves 9 flavors of delicious yogurt with 6 amazing toppings. And it's available for an exclusive franchise opportunity.
How do I get my own Reese and Irvy's robots?
It's easy, but you better act now. Locations and machines are going fast. Just go to froyofranchising.com. That's froyofranchising.com. Check it out now, froyofranchising.com.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
Focus. You need it to run a business, so don't let legal questions distract you. Use LegalZoom instead. Things like lease agreements and employment laws get complicated, but they're part of running a business. That's why LegalZoom built a network of independent attorneys in 48 states. You can rely on them for the legal details without paying by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. So focus on growing your business and use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
It's 8:07. Let's get an update on the roads. In our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound Lakeshore Drive is jammed. Marquette to 57th with a crash in the 2 left lanes. Then slow from the Stevenson to Jackson. It's 40 minutes. 67th to Jackson. Southbound 35 minutes. Hollywood to Monroe. Eden's 24 minutes. Lake Cook to the Junction. Outbound 30. The Kennedy 52 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. The Eisenhower an hour and 14 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 57 minutes. Stevenson an hour and 2 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 48 minutes. Bryan is 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound stop and go Washington to 137. Northbound 115th to 47th. The Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Adams Tollway, so 25 to 59. Barrington to 53. And Elmhurst to the River Road toll. Westbound slow from the Tri-State to Lee. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, breezy with partial sunshine. A shower or thunderstorm in spots for the afternoon, high of 79. Then tonight, partly cloudy, low 55. Sunny clouds with a shower tomorrow, high 68. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
63 at O'Hare. It is 67 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
What I'm saying is, if you invoke his race as a reason why he can't do his job.
I think that's why he's doing it.
But
I think that's why he's doing it.
When Hillary Clinton says it's a racist attack.
Hillary Clinton is a stiff.
You know, look, George, I thought that the report actually made it clear that the practice I used was used by other secretaries, other high-ranking State Department officials.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Your reflections on Muhammad Ali's passing, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. How do you remember Ali? Do you remember him as one of the greatest boxers of all time, the Sports Illustrated's Sportsman of the Century? Do you remember the Rumble in the Jungle where he knocked out Foreman? Do you remember the trilogy against Joe Frazier, which ended with his TKO of Frazier in the 15th in the Thrill in Manila? That's right.
Yeah.
Do you remember
3 heavyweight titles? I mean, it was an impressive career.
Do you remember him as a humanitarian? Do you remember him as a draft dodger / conscientious objector in the Vietnam War? Now, one of the questions I have is how we should cover celebrity. And I understand Ali transcended celebrity, and he means a lot of things to a lot of people. Mark Jackson, when he was commenting yesterday, Mark Jackson, you know, the basketball, former basketball player, coach, and now broadcaster, he did the Golden State Cavs game yesterday, and he had a rather poignant remembrance of Ali. So it means a lot of different. He means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, including some negative things. And my question is, how do we cover celebrity, or how should we cover celebrity? Even these kind of beloved transcendental figures like Ali, should we cover warts and all, or should we paper over some of the failings, because Ali was human like everybody else and he had failings? And I don't cast aspersions on him. The next time I present myself as a paragon of moral virtue will be the first time. But I'm just saying but I'm not a celebrity.
So yeah, you are.
Thank you very much. But how should we cover celebrities, and particularly those that are, you know, these seminal figures of our time, like Ali?
Well, you brought up something about 3 hours ago that I had never known about Muhammad Ali. And that is that he had 4 wives, 9 children, and a few love children, one born to a 17-year-old girl. Actually, they had 2 kids together. Mm-hmm. And then the other was a 16-year-old girl who he fathered a baby girl with. And his current second wife at the time helped raise that 16-year-old girl's child, along with raising the 16-year-old girl. So it was a side of him I guess I didn't need to know. But then once you brought it up, all I've been doing is reading article after article about that.
Well, I mean, I think you could put everything in context. But, yeah, I mean, Ali's family life was complicated, to say the least. He has his one son, Muhammad Ali Jr., reportedly was living in a garret in a not-so-good neighborhood in Chicago as recently as 2013, and had been estranged from his father for more than a decade. So family life is complicated, I understand, but you certainly don't look at all of Muhammad Ali's personal choices with respect to his family life and say, that's something that we should emulate. Now, there are other things about him that you say, you know, we should emulate. There are other things about him, not just how he dealt with his Parkinson's disease, but as a goodwill ambassador, as an ambassador for sport, right? I mean, that you say these are laudable.
He raised $100 million for Parkinson's research.
Here's how Muhammad Ali, when asked about what you would like people to say about you when you're gone, Here's how Ali responded. Pretty good. As usual, he was quite facile with the language.
What would you like people to think about you when you've gone? I'd like for them to say he took a few cups of love. He took 1 tablespoon of patience, 1 teaspoon of generosity, 1 pint of kindness. He took 1 quart of laughter, 1 pinch of concern, and then he mixed willingness with happiness. He added lots of faith, and he stirred it up well. Then he spread it over a span of a lifetime, and he served it to each and every deserving person he met. Muhammad Ali, thank you very much.
He was just so
pretty good.
He was likable. Remember, he was on Candid Camera. I watched some of those old videos last night where he would surprise students, in class, and he had his, boxing uniform on, and he was the greatest because he told us he was the greatest.
I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
Well,
That's the kind of Muhammad Ali I want to remember.
Yeah,
and, he came here, lived in Chicago. A lot of people argue that this was his home because he had a mansion in Hyde Park, and this is where he converted to Nation of Islam. He was friends with Ismail Muhammad, and he became a Muslim. And so when he was drafted back in 1967, he said, "Why should they ask me to put on a uniform and go 10,000 miles from home and drop bombs and bullets on brown people in Vietnam while so-called Negro people in Louisville are treated like dogs and denied simple human rights?"
Yeah, well, a lot of black people put on the uniform and fought for the country in Vietnam and died for the country in Vietnam.
Well, here's Muhammad Ali in 1967.
You my opposer when I'm on freedom. You my opposer when I'm on justice. And you want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here at home.
I mean, did he have a point?
Well, of course he had a point. There's no question he had a point. Obviously, he grew up under Jim Crow, institutional racism. Even with the Civil Rights Act of '64, it wasn't just a light switch, and racism disappeared overnight. And it still hasn't disappeared. But the question is taking it to that length. He was convicted of dodging the draft.
Yep.
That conviction was later overturned, and that obviously. I mean, thinking about the 58,000 men who were killed in service in Vietnam, that's going to leave some Vietnam veterans and other veterans, other military men and women, with maybe an uneven taste in their mouth, if not a bad taste in their mouth about Ali. You take controversial positions. Some people are going to cheer. Some people are going to boo. That's life, and Ali understood that.
But he had to, the New York State Athletic Commission suspended his boxing license after that, and then they stripped him of his world heavyweight title as well. So he was banned from boxing in the United States for a time.
Well, some people
doing that.
Yeah, some people forget. I mean, that was not a decision he made that was without consequence. A criminal conviction, in addition to being stripped of his titles and prohibited from boxing.
And he was scolded by Mayor Daley when he moved here in the late 60s because Mayor Daley saw him as a coward because he was a draft dodger.
A lot of people did, including even kind of members of the media. I mean, respected members of the media at the time, influential members of the media. They weren't, that was not an era where you just kind of turned a blind eye to the decision that Ali made. And America didn't. So it was... like any life, particularly a life in the public like that, there were, and particularly somebody as outspoken and as charismatic and as influential as Ali, there were moments where some people liked him more than other moments.
And last night, while you were sleeping, his body was flown from Scottsdale, Arizona to Louisville, Kentucky. He planned out his own funeral. He wants to have a procession on Friday, a parade, so to speak, from his elementary school through to his hometown, to the house he was raised in, to his final burial place. And Bill Clinton's going to speak.
Oh, gosh.
The comedian, what's his name? Why do I have a problem with it?
Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal and Bryant Gumbel. He decided he wants those three to deliver his eulogy.
Bill Clinton.
Oh, he was friends with Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Our first black president.
Yeah, right. That's disappointing. So here's the thing about celebrity, though. And this also goes, I mean, this is a bit of a tangent, but it's in the same category.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the stories about Johnny Depp last week. Johnny Depp is, the great actor, popular actor. He is accused in court documents by his spouse, Amber Heard, of physically beating her. And there's
like going through a divorce. I mean,
and there are a lot of individuals that are substantiating with text messages that physical beating did occur. Really? And so the question is, I mean, because we didn't see it on video, like in an elevator with Ray Rice, I mean, does Johnny Depp get banned from doing Hollywood movies? Do people report on this? Do we hold Johnny Depp to the standard that Ray Rice was held? Do we make him the villain of America for 6 months? I mean, it's just part of these stories that are interesting to me, in addition to examining someone's life, is the unequal treatment that we give to people that are similarly situated, celebrities, people that have resources, people that are in the public eye. And I was just thinking about this last week with the revelations about Johnny Depp. You're going to not go see his next movie the way that people protested, the Baltimore Ravens until they cut Ray Rice. So is that, what do you make of that? And then when it comes to Ali, again, do we examine the totality of his life? Do we talk about the totality of his life, the good and the not so good, like you would anybody else, but perhaps more so because of the influence that Ali had on America for so many decades.
But fathering a baby with a 16-year-old girl, I'm surprised he wasn't charged with a statutory rape, but we don't know. Maybe it took place in Kentucky. There's different state laws.
Well, I'm just, asking the question 15. Of how you view the coverage and what the coverage should be like and what, if anything, is off limits. Tom in Arlington Heights. Hey, Tom.
Hey.
You're on.
Okay. Hey, Dan?
Yes.
Hey, so I had a personal encounter with Muhammad Ali just by chance in an airport. I spotted him in a gate, and he was surrounded by his entourage, and I was just in awe of him, and I thought, this is the once-in-a-lifetime chance. So I went up to him, and nobody stopped me, and I sat down next to him, and I said into his ear, to the effect that, hey, a man of your achievements and accomplishments, you could have all the material goods in the world, but instead you devoted your life to charity, and you have my utmost respect. And he turned and he looked at me, and he said something very softly, and I barely heard him because he has Parkinson's, he speaks softly, and he said, I'm just another, and I couldn't understand him, and I asked him to repeat. And he said to me, I'm just another N-word, okay? And so this is unvarnished, like you mentioned. And I was a little bit taken aback. I mean, you can't say yes, you can't say no to something like that. But instead, I just kind of repeated myself and asked him for an autograph and went on my way. And the way I interpreted it was that, he was just being tongue-in-cheek. He was just acting the way he did in public a lot. He doesn't take himself seriously. But I thought it was very cool and total that he was willing to talk to me.
Interesting. Thanks for the call, Tom.
Oh, and by the way, the age of consent in Kentucky is 16.
Alan in Crown Point, Indiana.
Yeah, I think two different lives are represented by Muhammad Ali. His younger life as a great boxer, but however vilified when he didn't enter into the draft, and he was taken, he lost his title and everything else, probably undeservedly. But anyway, and then as he grew older, more humanitarian and helped people, and so I think he represents his life. But I would like to interject Joe Louis into the same scene. Yeah. Almost identical. Served his country and was a great boxer and hardly ever said anything about being the greatest or anything else, but had followed him at the same time. So I just like to interject that.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali was a great boxer and a good man. However, Joe Louis, I like to put a plug in for Joe Louis.
Very good. Thanks for the call, Alan.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Sunshine, a chance of a shower this afternoon, a high of 79 degrees. Then tomorrow it's going to be breezy, but a lot cooler around here with some clouds and sun, an afternoon shower, and a high of 68 degrees. Anything on the roadway that's pressing? Here's Jim Talamonte with the answer.
Amy, in northwest Indiana, there's a vehicle fire eastbound 8094. It's stop and go from Grant to I-65, and that vehicle fire is on the ramp, partly blocking the exit to southbound 65. Eden's 23 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 30. The Kennedy Still 52 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. The Eisenhower, an hour and 14 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 58 minutes from Mannheim. Outbound 57 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 57 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 45. Ryan is 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-state delays are southbound 137 to 176 and 190 to the O'Hare Oasis. Northbound Southwest Highway to 31st and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Jim Talamonte and the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Everyone is making predictions about who Donald Trump will pick as his vice presidential running mate. And here today in 560, we're raising the stakes a little bit. Check it out. If you correctly guess Trump's running mate, you could win $560. That's right. Enter our $560 Veep Stakes contest between now and June 24th. And if your prediction is correct, Marsha Blackburn, you could win $560 and a $50 gift card from the Trump Winery. 2 easy ways to enter. You can fire up the AM560 mobile app on your smartphone and enter the contest that way. Or you can go to 560theanswer.com/Trump to enter online. It's that easy. Complete rules are online at 560theanswer.com/Trump. Enter today. It's going to be huge.
Tremendous.
We're so excited about our sold-out golf outing at the Bolingbrook Golf Club coming up on Thursday, June 16th to benefit Operation Support Our Troops America.
If you weren't able to get in this year, don't worry. You can still reserve a tee time at the Bolingbrook Golf Club anytime this spring or summer by visiting BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
And thanks to the sponsors who are making our golf outing possible.
Remax Professionals, Charity Golf International, Dr. Amy and Associates, MJ Miller and Company Jewelers in Barrington, Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, and Pearl Mortgage.
Here's some great news. Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates can help you with your retirement game plan. You know Jack, or you should. Jack is the president and founder of Tabota & Associates. He's been helping folks just like you retire successfully for 3 decades. Jack has the insight, information, strategies, and experience you can use to build wealth and keep it. Live good. Retire well with Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates. 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. After 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life, they have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Donald Trump's taking a lot of heat for the comments he has made about Federal District Court Judge Gonzalo Curiel, suggesting that he's being treated unfairly because Curiel is of Mexican heritage and Trump wants to build a wall, and so he's holding Trump's political views against him in this civil case against Trump University that Trump thinks should have been dismissed 2 years ago. Trump on with Jake Tapper, CNN, said this.
Because if he was giving me fair rulings, I wouldn't say that.
My question is,
Jake, if you were giving me fair rulings, I wouldn't be talking to you this way. He's giving me horrible rulings.
I don't care if you criticize him. That's fine. You can criticize every decision. What I'm saying is, if you invoke his race as a reason why he can't do his job.
I think that's why he's doing it.
But
I think that's why he's doing it.
When Hillary Clinton says it's a racist attack.
Hillary Clinton is a stiff.
Hillary Clinton is a stiff. But to the issue of Curiel and invoking race. Somebody else did that. Somebody else invoked the heritage of a judge in the determination to oppose him.
Oh, really? Who is that?
Senior senator from Illinois. One sack of Dick Durbin.
Really?
Yeah. A piece from the Washington Examiner from back in the day during the Bush years. This was when Miguel Estrada was nominated for federal courtship and never got a vote, by the way. Democrats filibustered, blocked Miguel Estrada from ever getting a vote. Memo from which the Washington Times obtained back during the Bush administration. A staffer in Dick Durbin's office recounted a meeting his boss had missed with Ted Kennedy, and representatives of various civil rights groups. Here's what the Durban staffer wrote about the groups present for the confab. So Dick Durbin's representation, Ted Kennedy, all the lions of the left meeting to talk about judgeships. Quote, yesterday's meeting focused on identifying the most controversial and or vulnerable judicial nominees and a strategy for targeting them. They also identified Miguel Estrada, D.C. Circuit, as especially dangerous because he has a minimal paper trail. He is Latino, and the White House seems to be grooming him for Supreme Court appointment.
Oh,
so
how convenient.
When Dick Durbin and the left opposed Miguel Estrada because he was Latino, and you don't want any Latino Republicans perhaps swaying Latino families to reconsider the Republican Party, that went off without a hitch. I don't remember the furor over this story. This is a story that was out there. But the furor over Trump, the hypocrisy of the left, it knows no bounds.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mark Weingart, President and CEO of Star Creations, Inc., the fastest growing supplier of wall decor products in the U.S. When it comes to banking, I don't want to be a small fish in a big pond. That's why I bank at Signature Bank Chicago. At Signature Bank, every customer is important. I know I can pick up the phone and talk to any one of the decision makers I know and trust at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, they understand and respond to the unique needs of my business with flexibility and fairness. I'm proud to bank with Signature Bank because I know they're deeply invested in the success of Star Creations.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Every guy dreads the honey-do list. Oh, no. So give yourself a weekend off and check out ChicagoRadioDeals.com for some home improvement help. How's the air quality in your home? Allergens could be affecting the air you breathe. Well, Royal Home Comfort Services is offering several deals at half off their normal rates to improve the air quality in your home. So purchase a full home air duct cleaning for $195. This deal includes all your ducts and an inspection of your furnace as well. They also have a deal to rid your home ductwork of any unwanted bacteria, including mold, fungi, and algae, by using a natural cleansing agent to keep your family safe and healthy. But wait, there's more. Royal Home Comfort also has a deal to clean and inspect your home dryer vent for only $45. Now, if you want to tackle a project yourself, well, then shop at a great local hardware store with personal customer service. Purchase the Addison Building Materials $100 gift certificate for only $50. Addison Building Materials is a true value retailer. For spring cleaning and much more and all those home improvement deals, just visit ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is equal unfair? We'll ask Ayn Rand Institute's Yaron Brook at 8:38.
And later, how Dan broke his shaft. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
69 degrees, sunny skies, 1 day away from the last big round of Democratic presidential primaries. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders running hard in California, one of 6 states to hold primary elections tomorrow. Clinton campaign manager John Podesta says his candidate is in the driver's seat.
She's gotten 3 million more votes than Senator Sanders, and that she has now 270 pledged delegate lead on him. We expect that to either be the same or maybe expand by a little bit.
The former Secretary of State has a 61 to 34% lead over Sanders in New Jersey. Planned meeting between Florida Governor Rick Scott and likely Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump is off for now as Scott stays put in the Sunshine State watching Tropical Storm Colin. Colin is gaining strength as it heads towards the Florida Gulf Coast, packing maximum sustained winds of 50 miles an hour. Today is the 72nd anniversary of D-Day, the Allies' invasion of Europe on June 6, 1944, the largest amphibious assault ever. Began the liberation of Nazi-occupied Europe. Thousands of American, British, Canadian, and French infantry backed by paratroopers, bombers, and warships stormed a 50-mile stretch of France's Normandy coast. Chicago's police are searching for a teen boy accused of sexually assaulting a girl at a school on the city's southwest side. 5, including one Chicago police officer, are hurt following a fire on the city's north side. Chicago sports last night. Arizona beat the Cubs while the Tigers beat the White Sox. 8:33 is our time. The news is a service of GNC. Fuel your summer fun at GNC. Top products to fuel every athlete are buy one, get one half off. Fuel your training, your recovery, your wallet at GNC. Buy one, get one half off. Store-wide. Mix and match now through June 27th at GNC. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher doesn't want to hear any more talk of a contested convention.
More and more Americans who would vote Republican or independent are gravitating to Donald Trump. With all due respect to the maybe Mitt Romney crowd, please don't stub your toe anymore. You guys have stubbed your toes on this stuff enough. You've been wrong over and over again. Please try to stop being so wrong.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Tea times, golf outings, driving range, golf academy, brunch, dinner, weddings, banquets, receptions. Find and do it all at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Info online at bolingbrookgolfclub.com.
Hey, I want to tell you about my friends at Guardian Security Services. Because here's the deal. If you're unhappy with your door staff or on-site security officers at your business or property, or you're just not receiving the services you were promised, there's no reason to tolerate it. Call my friends right now at Guardian Security Services to discuss your security officer needs. These guys are amazing. They've been Chicago's best for 41 years. They only assign the most professional, highly trained security officers in all of Chicagoland. Their vetting practices are exceptional. If you're finally ready to explore an alternative to your current security officer provider, then doggone it, do it. Pick up the phone right now and schedule a free security assessment with my friends at Guardian Security Services. Tell them me, Joe Walsh, sent you. Right now, call 708-385-3300. Again, 708-385-3300 or online at guardiansecurityinc.com.
Now that spring has arrived, it's likely you're looking forward to the warmer weather. But if you're a business owner, facilities manager, or maintenance engineer, you risk the same potential problem every year. A complete system failure. In fact, up to half of all commercial air conditioning units fail upon startup each season due to the lack of regular maintenance and repair. Let the professionals at Air Comfort make a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system before there's a problem. A poorly operating air conditioning system results in uneven temperatures and humidity problems, leading to unhealthy mold and mildew growth. Don't compromise your business's overall air quality. Schedule today with Air Comfort. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Even if you're under contract with another provider, let Air Comfort provide your second opinion. After all, there's a reason why hundreds of businesses have trusted Air Comfort with their mechanical maintenance for more than 80 years. That's Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935.
It is 8:36 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. The latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound 8094, stop and go Grant to I-65. The vehicle fire on the ramp to southbound 65. Eden's 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 26. The Kennedy 58 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 40. The Eisenhower an hour and 14 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 58 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 57 to Thorndale. Stevenson 57 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 45. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive southbound, slow Montrose to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound heavy approaching 57th after a crash, then from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound slow from the Adams Tollway to the O'Hare Oasis for the crash on the right shoulder. Northbound 95th to 47th and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, breezy. Some sunshine this morning, then a possible shower or storm late in the day, high 79. Partly cloudy and a low of 55 overnight. 67 at O'Hare, 70 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the truth of the foreclosure crisis. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, before you read about it on Facebook or Twitter, well, hear about it from your friends. Find out what today's big stories really mean with me, Sean Hannity, today at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Me, myself, and I. All right. Coming up on June 7th, that would be tomorrow.
That is tomorrow. You're so good with the numbers. Wow.
The Chicago Atlas Shrugged Revolution Dinner. It's at the Langham Hotel, which is on North Wabash there, right where
Wabash.
the IBM Plaza. And this is the Ayn Rand Institute's annual dinner. Go to Ayn Rand Institute's website for more information and to attend. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock reception begins at the Langham Hotel for the Atlas Shrugged Revolution Dinner. I went last year. Heap big fun. I enjoyed it very much. And we're happy.
Did you get an invite for this year?
No. They didn't enjoy me as much. I enjoyed it, but it was not reciprocated.
It's okay.
And that's how the market works.
Yes.
That's how the market works. It's got to be a mutually beneficial thing.
Uh-huh.
And it was just beneficial for me. If it's not beneficial for the other party, then you get clipped. That's how it works. That's how life is. And Yaron Brook, who's the executive director of the Ayn Rand Institute, who will be at the dinner tomorrow night, has a new book out called "Equal is Unfair," which seems to be the opposite of what we understand from Comrade Bernie, and frankly, even a lot of Republicans who are very, very worried about income inequality and other types of inequality in the body politic. Yaron Brook, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. And first of all, Dan, you were great last year.
Thank you.
You were really good.
Thank you very
much.
much.
Thanks for doing it last year.
A pleasure. And so, Yaron, equal is unfair. How is that?
Well, because fairness doesn't mean everybody ending up the same way. Fairness means getting what you deserve. And, people produce at different levels. That's just the reality in which of the world. It's metaphysical. We're all different. We have different skills, different abilities, different talents. We have different luck. We have different things happen to us in life. And as a consequence, the outcomes are different. And the only way to try to equate those outcomes is to use violence on some, to take from some, to give to others. How's that fair? It's not fair to take stuff from somebody who's worked hard and produced and give it to somebody. Even if that person is unlucky, he has no claim to take stuff from somebody else.
So why is it bad to be rich and successful? Because lately there seems to be a stigma attached to that.
Well, it's bad, of course, to be successful. It's good to be successful, but we live in a world that people like Bernie Sanders is trying to fill with envy, where people who don't have resent and envy those who do have. And Bernie Sanders is trying to induce that in us. Europeans have that attitude. Europeans in Europe, if you have a lot of money, you hide it. Because Europe has this ancient tradition where the rich basically became rich by stealing their money. In America, for the most part, you become rich by making money. So we've never had this envy. We've never had this resentment of the rich. And it's really, really sad, and I think a sign of the decline of what is America, when Americans starting resenting those who are successful.
Right, but now the argument is, look, I understand we don't want to take from people who make, and we want to applaud the entrepreneur capitalist, but we need that social safety net, Yaron, because some people through luck or bad decisions wind up in a bad place, and we don't want to see people starving in the streets. We don't want to see people without access to quality health care. We don't want to see people whose kids aren't in school, and this is where we have to make people pay their fair share so that there's a base level of opportunity for everyone and they can earn a living wage and their kids get educated and they can have quality health care.
Sure. But let's start by the fact that the people who are responsible for the lack of education in this country is the government. We have public schools today, government schools, and as a consequence, particularly poor kids are unbelievably unqualified to enter the workforce. So if you really care about education, think twice about increasing government involvement in it. What we need to do is get government out of education if we want a good education. But look, there's always been a safety net. The safety net is you and me.
the safety net is people who care. The safety net is people who care and who don't want to see people starving in the streets. The safety nets it was originally charity in this country, and what the government has done is crowded out charity and replaced it with something much less efficient, much less virtuous, and it now forces charity. So we're all paying into this unbelievably inefficient system. Do you know there are 126 different welfare programs at the federal level that spend, $700 billion on a war on poverty that has led to a decrease in poverty of exactly zero? So there is no safety net. The safety net now is just a bunch of bureaucrats wasting money they steal from productive Americans. The best safety net, the most effective safety net, is a voluntary safety net. Mutual aid societies. There used to be such a thing as insurance against poverty that people could buy. There are real market solutions to the problem of uncertainty about having a job and bad stuff happening to you. The government just distorts those markets and destroys opportunity.
That's Yaron Brook, Executive Director of the Iran Institute. New book, Equal is Unfair. And in your book, you mentioned how the middle class stagnation is just a myth. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I mean, all these numbers that say the middle class Americans' lives is the same today as it was in the 1970s. Wages are stagnant, everything is stagnant. Now, the numbers are cooked, and we can talk about that. But just anybody who's lived in the 70s or remembers the 70s, or maybe watches a TV show that's placed in the 70s, think about those clunky, big, ugly televisions, and think about how many flat-screen TVs you have in your home if you're middle-class American today. Think of the quality of your car today versus the quality of the car. Think of the supercomputer almost everybody has in their pocket called an iPhone or Samsung or whatever. But it's a supercomputer. It's more powerful than the computer that sent man to the moon. Think about all the appliances you have in your house, and remember the old toasters that we used to get from our bank in the 1970s to open a checking account, and that was considered the high tech of the day, a toaster. So we live incomparably better lives as a middle class today than we did back in the 70s, and everybody who's got eyes should be able to see that. Now, they cook the numbers because one of the things they do is when they measure wages, they don't take into account benefits, and benefits have become a bigger and bigger and bigger part of Americans' wages or income in the last 30 years. They also don't take it. This is household income, but they don't adjust for the fact that household composition has changed dramatically over the last 30 years. The fact is, the American middle class, if you're in the middle class, you're living a much, much better, longer, healthier, and more cool life today than you were in those ugly 1970s.
Well, it seems to me the difficulty is a lot of people just want to live and have been socialized that it's okay to live a world without consequences. I don't really have to be responsible for my decisions if they turn out badly, but if they turn out well, then I'm, into the pay my fair share. You see a majority of Fortune 500 CEOs favor Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. Now, you may say that's a Hobson's choice, but I think it also speaks to the idea that look, government is our partner. Because, we like to play the rent-seeking game, and we're forced to play the rent-seeking game because government is so big and involved in so many facets of our economic life. And so how do you change the culture? Because it seems to me, particularly from the libertarian perspective, you're trying to create a culture of persuasion where we have a culture that's largely predicated on coercion at the hands of government and those who use government as a sword. And boy, that requires a cultural response.
It does. It requires a cultural change. Look, we choose these politicians. We've selected a culture of coercion, and we vote for a culture of coercion. And unfortunately, this election is not going to be a referendum on that because I think both candidates are going to be equally guilty of massive coercion. But the fact is that we need to educate the American people to take responsibility over their own lives, because at the end of the day, this is a question of personal responsibility. And look, government coercion has destroyed this country. It's destroyed the top, where we've turned American CEOs and American companies into cronies, where we have too big to fail banks who benefit on the upside and come groveling to the government on the downside. But of course, these banks are also the most regulated businesses in our economy. What choice do they have when every decision they make has to be approved by a regulator? They basically become public utilities. And we've done it on the on the low income side, where it used to be before the Great Depression, before the Great Society. It used to be that Americans felt embarrassed if they had to ask for charity. Charity was a last resort. Today, people feel entitled to their redistribution of wealth, to taking from other people for their own benefit. And that is big government, unlimited government, coercion over 75 years, 80 years, slowly chipping away at what it means to be American and what it means to be self-reliant, what it means to have self-esteem and stand on your own 2 feet. And to reverse that means to reverse the whole attitude of Americans. And maybe it's going to take a big crisis for us to wake up from this. But so far, I don't see any political candidates or any political will on the part of the American people to really reverse the trend of big, unlimited, coercive interventionist government.
He is Yaron Brook. He is the author of the book Equal is Unfair, America's Misguided Fight Against Income Inequality. You can also catch Yaron Brook on these airwaves Saturdays at 4 p.m., the Yaron Brook Show. And tomorrow night's dinner, go to the Ayn Rand Institute for more information. Tomorrow night's Ayn Rand Institute Atlas Shrugged Revolution dinner, starting at 6 p.m. at the Langham Hotel in downtown Chicago. Yaron, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Sure. Absolutely. Anything. Thanks.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
So they went with Joe this year, right? Joe Walsh is doing it this year?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. The forecast is great. Plenty of sunshine right now. A stray shower or thunderstorm in spots this afternoon. A high of 79 degrees. Then tomorrow it's going to be breezy, cooler, some clouds and some sun, and afternoon rain possible. A high only of 68 degrees.
Let's see if Joe can whip those Randians into a frenzy like I did last year.
Let's see if there's a frenzy on the roadways. Here's Jim Delamonte.
Thank you, Amy and Dan. Well, we're seeing a little bit of freedom now on the inbound Edens. It's just a little heavy, Elston to the junction, only about a 1-minute delay. Outbound, it's slow, Montrose to Glenview Road. In pockets, 26 minutes, Montrose to Lake Kennedy. Still pretty heavy, 58 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. The express lanes don't save much of anything. Outbound, 40 minutes downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 14 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. An hour from Mannheim. Outbound, 57 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson getting better, still very slow from the Ryan to Lakeshore Drive, though. It's 47 minutes from 355 to the drive. Outbound 40, the Ryan 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State, southbound heavy approaching the O'Hare Oasis after a crash. Northbound slow, Archer to 31st and Roosevelt to the O'Hare Oasis. It's about Adams Tollway, stop and go Barrington Road to 53. Veterans Memorial, 75th to the Reagan Tollway and St. Charles to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte, Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I always thought you were way better than Joe Walsh.
Perfect. And I think what's better for everybody is getting a MyPillow for Dad for Father's Day. Give the gift of a great night's sleep. But there's health reasons, too, why you should get your dad a MyPillow. You know, it's gross, but did you know that 82% of all people don't know that you're supposed to change pillows every 2 years or less? That's because pillows absorb dead skin, dirt, skin oils, and dust mites that can cause allergies, acne, asthma, and who knows what else. So if you haven't already done so, you need a washable MyPillow, and so does your dad. Heck, I might even get one for my dog, Bunky. And with a 10-year warranty, it's a great gift and health investment, and you'll sleep better, too. I know I do. That's why MyPillow is the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. So visit MyPillow.com, type in Amy in the promo code 2 for the price of one. Keep one for yourself, give one to Dad. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
Are you or someone you know facing foreclosure? Losing the family home? Well, you'd be not alone, so please listen to this. There are a lot of issues in a foreclosure, legal issues, factual issues. Dozens so far, and more coming to light every day. You see, people, we are in the aftermath of what will go down in history as the greatest financial crime in history, from which a lot of people profited immensely. And these people did not always do things entirely legally. That is a foregone conclusion. I'm Lou Bridges. I put together a law firm dedicated to foreclosure defense and to avoiding foreclosure by working with the banks. based on a thorough examination and analysis of all the potential issues and questions. And we have surrounded ourselves with people equally committed to this pursuit of justice.
Call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231. Or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. That's FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Get real answers from a real foreclosure defense firm and discover the legal tools at your disposal.
CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today. CertaPro.com. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
When I was attacking a Pitbull last night, you were attacking your golf bag, and poor Dan, he has a broken shaft this morning.
I also have a broken driver. What happened was I was playing golf, and, sometimes an innocent driver has to pay the price for guilty short irons. So I chunked a wedge on the fourth hole, and I took my wedge and I hit my golf bag with it, and it snapped the shaft of my driver inside the golf bag. So then I used the 1-iron, and it was fine.
You have a 1-iron?
Yeah. Me and Lee Trevino. Oh, my God. Not even God can hit a 1-iron. Just me and Lee Trevino.
How's your golf game, Dan?
Needs work.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Psoriasis and vitiligo are